Hello and welcome to our Midnight Teacher presentation, for it is always midnight somewhere. Joining us today, as always, is Legend.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Apparently, we don't have that many chapters to go, or not chapters, layers. The reason we say chapters is because, well, our brains, um,
Yeah, you
you
got a
saw
lot of
that
brain. You got a lot of brains in your brain.
we have a lot of minds in our brain. There's a difference. But yes, um, sorry. Sorry. uh, uh, you noticed that the logo changed in the thumbnail? That's because there's a short story to be told midway through, which we're probably only going to get midway through, according to legend.
Yeah, it's fairly long.
Drink plenty of water, legend.
I have a bottle right here.
Alright, good to know. Alright.
All right. Greet query.
Hi, Query. Yes, there have been some problems with your hospital. We're doing our best, but we need all the help we can get. Who's voicing Clary?
I think you did, but I can do it if you
Oh,
want.
we can do it. You're gonna be doing a lot of reading tonight. Playing the narrator and Willis. Two main things in the book coming up.
I'm Willis.
Yes, you are. Anyways, what voice did we do for Query again?
But I don't think you did anything defined. Can you do like a robot voice?
We think it's better to do like a more nervous, nerdy voice, like, well, these are quite lovely gibberish noises from what I presently perceive as an empty space, but may I address the micro entities presently hovering within that space? Sure can, hun. Our ship here was just saying the hospital is kind of a mess right now. Terrible shape. Bad in such a manner that it just about inspires awe, if there were only a convenient word for that. Stuffy, what's a word for something full of awe in a bad way? Sucks. Yes, it sucks. Correct. I believe that's well established. I believe also that your observable bioparameters correlate to a gray zone necrobiota, and your physical configuration is interpretable as seated before a manual control interface. Given the data I've extracted regarding a gray zone existohazard, you are operating out of an anomalously recontextualized human patient cadaver. Am I correct? Yeah, that's pretty much close enough, I suppose. Can the smarter one adjust warm spectrum vibrational frequency from a 112-475 range to 111.9 to 474.6? Yes, but I'll let Staffy do it. She's closer to the button. Already did, and thank you, madam. Yes, there's the patient vessel, only moderately blurry. What is your designation? Yes, I'm Fern, if you mean you can see and understand me now. Ah, so it does talk. I'm afraid my access to this information is imperfect, but I can see that you have had a troubling experience with our services, Fern. And as warm and cozy as I now realize was in a and as warm and cozy as I now realize it was in an insensate void of non-existence, I am here to help. My intended functions lie in the management, retrieval, and delivery of knowledge. What your kind might describe as a teacher and librarian. This would be of benefit to you, I presume? Absolutely. Chip has been a big help, but he's also said there were supposed to be a lot more of you. System coded, system coded, system coded.
System coded. Literally a system of
Yeah,
machines.
yes, exactly. Correct. His intended functions are more technical and his spear poorly adapted for the pressure of consistent social interaction. Had you chosen any other task before restoring any of my functionality, he would hardly have lasted another 41 layers before stability degraded to an extreme you have seemingly already observed in our unfortunate brother Crash. Poor thing, only meant to deal with games. That explains a lot. What would have befallen Chip had you left him in a customer service position would be rather more challenging to quantify for and exceedingly more disturbing to your constitution. Good, good to know. Does this mean you'll be online in the rest of the hospital? We were trying to get the system back up and running for the maternity ward and the food court. Mixed. By relieving Chip of some unnecessary strain and exchanging what data we can, I can get him up and running in more facilities. However, I can deduce an undesirable outcome if I myself were to extend my network from here into the hospital. Exposure to both was more than likely another deteriorating factor in Crash's perception. You will have to posit your queries to me while you are here. You should also note that the questions you have already asked me have used 10% of your current data allotment. Data allotment restores at a rate of 1 per layer. Posit questions you would like to ask me, and I will update this layer with their data cost before we proceed. If this is acceptable, what would you like to know? Oh, lots of hearts, lots of little items. Cute.
Ask query.
I see. Interesting. Ah, hmm. Well, I have now compiled a number of relevant queries that I am equipped to answer. Due to unexpected volume, we have shifted to a new layer during this process, and the list is not complete. Also, I must make a correction. Data allotment will not reset on the 1100th layer, but will gradually restore at the rate of 1 per layer. Consider your options carefully. Processing costs themselves can offer some insight into the nature of the answer.
All right. Available conceptobytes. CB 91. What interactions should we avoid to preserve chip's zonal integrity longer? 5 CB. Optimal way to fix hospital, ignoring all constraints, sub 2K layer hospital fix speed run. 500 CB. 500 layers. You're not speed running that.
Hmm.
What can you tell us about your remaining siblings? 20 CB. How could we most effectively thwart the corruption process as opposed to restoring functionality? 15 CB. What, if anything, is worth knowing about MacBook? Should we be concerned about the children's drowsiness? 1 CB. Any other information on missing slash deconstructed doctors or their wards? 40 CB. What's the quickest route to get stronger? 30 CB. What order do you think we should tackle our remaining tasks in? 25 CB. Do you have any more precise knowledge of the zonal corruption? Specific zones, what's causing it, etc.? 80 CB. What's the current status on Fern's child? 15 CB. Would you happen to know anything about Crash's caretaker? 10 CB.
We feel like that's a lost cause, removed from existence for a moment. So,
We have reason to believe a sound child is lost in the library. As a librarian, do you know where that is? 5 CB. How do we debug or reboot the hospital's priority algorithms? There's a strong threat to the hospital that appears to have somehow tampered with its system, so it's not recognized as important, or rather, recognized as absolute zero priority.
that's the question we
25,
need.
25 CB. Oh, they didn't put. There's no CB on this one. Oh, Gleech!
Fix
Fix this!
this!
Can we have some info on Dr. Fleagood? He appears to have somehow merged the maternity and veterinary wards, and info on him would probably be useful in detangling those concepts. 30 CB. I'm a victim of circumstance. Can you elaborate on the objects in our inventory for us? 20 CB. Query, what, if anything, do you know about the Parliament? 30 CB.
we just want to
Ask about.
stop and appreciate how good your Curly Joe impression is.
Why, thank you.
Nyuk
Nyuk, nyuk, nyuk.
nyuk nyuk.
Yeah. There's always something I gotta say to get in character with Curly. It's nyuk nyuk nyuk.
Fair enough.
And
I'm a
considering
big
that Doctor
I'm a victim of circumstance is another good one.
Circumstance.
Dr. Fine, Dr. Howard. No, it's Dr. Howard, Dr. Fine, Dr. Howard.
Yeah, and also, I mean, he literally says nyuk nyuk nyuk. So like, how
Nyuk,
can I
nyuk,
not?
nyuk.
Nyuk nyuk nyuk.
Yeah, fair enough.
Anyway, ask what that rabbit thing we've been seeing is. 91 CB.
Bad idea.
I think that's our limit.
Yeah.
Are we going to have to worry about negative repercussions if Fern's core spends too many layers in this slob body? 15 nothing. Bogleach fix this. What's the most important in the hospital to repair next, or most important facility member to reconstruct if that's more important? Please only tell us objectives we have a good chance of successfully completing right now. 40 CB. How can we return to the super ultra dangerous child to its mother without dying again? 10 CB. Is the human mother in the maternity ward trustworthy? Or maybe she's not human at all? Unanswerable. We believe that one of the hospital's current departments isn't supposed to be there. Which one is it? 45 CB.
Isn't it worms? Worms! Worms!
You know, that CB cost implies that it's a bit more complicated than it might seem.
Yeah.
Ah, yes, I, Dr. Phage, do remember installing the worms. Lord. What's the deal with the crabs? 30 CB. What information did the hospital have about the red blight? Unanswerable. Must there not be existential levels beyond known cores? Is concept not a concept itself? Is that concept not a concept? 50 CB. Besides Jay and Ali, who has been purging the hospital staff? 20 CB.
Who's Ellie
What do you
again?
think? I think Ali was the child that has been eating the
Right.
void people.
Right.
What do you think is the best way to capture a child made of sound and get them back to their mother? 5 CB. Can you tell us what you know about Dr. Mann? 50 CB. What do you know about the Planck maze? 5 CB. Are we or the hospital in imminent danger from flare? 20 CB. Is Fern an imminent threat to the hospital's well-being? 5 CB. Can we restore Crash? 5 CB. What's the story behind the weird phage-looking duck mascot hawking phony meds? 30 CB. What important concepts would a rabbit represent? 10
Ooh,
CB.
that's a good one.
All right. Next. Ask.
Processing. Processing. 81 conceptual bytes expended. 1 conceptual bytes accrued since previous layer. 11 conceptual bytes remaining. Your answers are as follows.
Should we be concerned about the children's drowsiness?
Answer. The hospital prioritizes comfort according to need. In stressful situations, sedative mechanisms are diverted to particularly sensitive individuals. If they are, however, unresponsive to their guardian entities to an undesirable degree, something may have overridden the system's regulatory protocols. In this instance, the low processing cost of this question likely indicates that the situation is not of critical concern, but is an after effect of interference that has already come to pass. Today's bonus facts! Children between the ages of 5 and 12 require from 10 to 11 hours of sleep each night. Teenagers aged 13 to 18 should sleep 8 to 10, and adults only an average of 7. This feature's fairly hard coded, if you're wondering.
How could we most effectively thwart the corruption process, as opposed to restoring functionality?
You may be pleased to know that you are on the correct track as far as I am capable of determining. Restoring staff and systems will in fact be most effective, and increasing the pardon, don't know what that was about. Restoring staff and systems will in fact be most effective at increasing the health of this facility and its patients, as will the neutralization of any entities hypothetically sabotaging normal functionality. Bonus factamundo! Vitamins are not necessarily more beneficial in greater volume. Many vitamins have detrimental effects in excess that can include discomfort, digestive difficulty, hair loss, fatigue, and even nerve damage.
Simulation. How do we debug or reboot the hospital's priority algorithms? There's a strong threat to the hospital that appears to have somehow tampered with its systems, so it's not recognized as important, or rather, recognized as absolute zero priority.
I believe this would indicate an aspect of the threat that breaks conventional categorization, perhaps even by my own systems. The precise nature of a hazard would typically be analyzed by scientific research staff, but I am detecting that the laboratory is devoid of dedicated staff and in an advanced state of degeneration. Furthermore, while I can find no record of a dedicated security administration, I have extrapolated that we should most certainly possess one, both because it's typical of medical facilities throughout established reality, and because our remaining staff appear to be resorting to erratic, unguided threat neutralization behaviors, for which I am obligated to apologize on our behalf. We are working tirelessly to address your concerns, and we hope you will have a health-tacular day. Sorry, another force of programming. While it may not restore normalcy under present circumstances, the restoration of research staff would benefit the hospital's ability to categorize the nature of this ongoing catastrophe, and security staff would hypothetically use this data to protect patients while medical staff focus on their appropriate work. E.g., a nurse would not need to terminate a patient's bowel vessel merely for wandering the halls. We are working tirelessly to address. Sorry again, I'm still a machine. But days bonus factory do. Is it not? It's not what you thought, and I don't know what that means either. Thank you for using query.
Simulation.
Ding
Uh,
ding. Ah!
What's the most important? What's the most important part of the hospital to repair next, or most important facility member to resurrect, if that's more important? Please only tell us objectives we have a good chance of successfully completing right now.
While aforementioned facilities would be of significant help, it may be most imperative to migrate any further corruptions of the maternity ward, as you likely suspected. I see that our dear Dr. Ginny has been taking extensive breaks, but even the current state of her ward and her personal workload does not account for such fatigue. An outside force is most likely weakening her, but it would appear to be a slow process. Too slow to have yet compromised her conceptual core, which would indicate a more material force interfering with the functionality of her bile vessel. Act! Smaller group is the snow family body thing, adults of which are sometimes seen looking slow.
Simulation.
Ow! I do apologize. You did an adequate job of assembling an interface for me, but there was only so much you had to work with. I am confident that I have given accurate answers regardless of any algorithmic hiccups in my behavior. Thank you for using Query.
Next.
You did great, Query, and I liked the hiccups. I'm getting the sense they were helpful too, actually. Just fulfilling my directive, Miss Fern.
Yuri,
Yuri, Yuri, Yuri,
Yuri.
the computer. Okay.
She is blushing.
Oh, true. Given what we've now heard from Query, local fungoids, and buzzer data, we're positive your moldy hunk of bread is somehow a core component of a hospital laboratory technician, quite possibly the head of the whole branch. This means we would want to choose at least 3 or more additional objects we think are relevant and get them back to Magdalene. So it is Magdalene's vibrational tree I'm detecting. I look forward to working with her, but I'm afraid this brings us to a few queries of my own. Might I ask how Magdalene has been faring in these surroundings? Not sure, actually. She seems all right now, but we found her trapped in some kind of flesh cocoon we had to tear open, and I think I could only see it or touch it in this gross body. I see. I also see that this monitor is marked for use by the hospital's catering services. Oh, right. Balmer wanted the computers working in the cafeteria. It is rather critical that they retain data services. If this monitor is returned to their facility, it will at least be accessible to Chip, who can consequentially monitor their conceptual stability. I no longer necessarily require it, as I have regained control of network hardware through the Plank Maze, but there's only one more usable terminal on this side, which I believe you had seen before. That would be the one in Jay's room. Then I know Crash was using it. To mess with him. Ah, that would be why it smells of Professor Cheese or pseudo-nutritive starch clots. Screaming triple saltastrophe flavor 4, Final Reckoning. Could you say that? Could you say that full title, Legend?
Professor Cheeseorg's pseudo nutritive starch clots, screaming triple saltasativine, flavor 4, final reckoning.
Good. That means he took my advice to cut back on sodium. Unfortunately, while I have regained shaky control of the monitor in question, something with an abnormal signature is obstructing my perception of the surrounding room. If you can clear this obstruction, we can establish a permanent access point for my services in the plank maze. I can assure Magdalene has a safe retreat under my watch, and you can return to cafeteria's terminal where it is needed. Anything else you can figure about this obstruction besides abnormal? Its vibrational frequencies would likely evade comprehension by hospital-specific entities, and even my broader conceptual parameters are having some difficulty with its identification. However, I am unsure how much of this is a matter of conceptual perception and how much is due to what we call brute mechanics, which is to say, it might just be a big thingy blocking my view. For now, I will disconnect from this terminal. Don't forget to take the mouse for it with it.
Wired. A generated monitor. Filled with the weird, loosely thematic junk you collected from the maze, and a dead rat somehow attached by its tail, this apparently now counts as one item. It can channel query in the plank maze, but ship in the rest of the hospital.
Hmm.
Investigate Jay's old room. You backtrack through a slightly quiet maze. You backtrack through a slightly quiet maze than you thought it was.
Bug leech!
Bug
Fix
leech!
this!
Fix this!
Bug leech! Bug leech, give us $1,000,000.
You backtrack through a slightly quieter maze than you thought it was. Quieter. Except,
Weird. You hear that? Those readings are unmistakably Parliament, but I don't hear anything. Nothing? No weird carrying on?
weird carrying on, but it's not scaring you.
I don't hear it either. Even these gross little dudes have quit yapping for once.
No more a red, a red, a red.
A red! A red! Oh, right. Been quiet.
A red. Ahem. Howdy from the tote bag. This gross little dude's got something to say. You don't want to go in there.
I mean, it doesn't seem that bad down there.
At all. Oddly familiar. Maybe you know them?
Down where? What's not bad? Granted, they're not particularly threatening vibrations, that's for sure. Same flavor family as that well-flapped hello, but barely louder than a glum nest or a vet hint winder. Actually, think I'm liking it, weirdly enough.
Yeah, it's good. You're sure now. Friend sounds pretty good.
Excuse me, when do you like anything, Fern? Hell, you don't even like puss. Well, I like this. I like it. It makes sense. You don't know everything.
That's right. This is a great idea. You don't know what it said, but you know it's right that this is a great idea. Down! Yeah, see, I don't know what's up with the old broad here, but that's enough digestive tract up ahead to put me off. And that's even if it hooks up right, which is very much not the vibe I'm getting here. Not my kind of buffet.
I'm gonna go in.
Smells nice too. Feels nice. Good words and smells. It's friend down there. You know it.
No, Fern, let's go back. This really doesn't read right. Hey, it's mine. I like it. Itchy, okay? It's just me, you know. Geez, paranoid sometimes. Fun.
Tasty. Like it. Good. Okay. Friend.
Stop getting override going. Steer her out of here. I've been trying. Hmm. Fern! Hey! Staff says it's bad, and the butt thing says it's bad. Fern? Mm.
Tasty, tasty, good friend, good, great, right, good, friendly, quiet, safest, home familiarity, joined in together, greatness, fresh is guaranteed, in, down, together, fixed, prepared, information, researching, excellent, surprise, squeeze, snuggle, family. Yep, I read all of that.
We're putting on our creepy face.
Oh, let me check your. Oh, the stream on Discord is paused.
Oh.
Oh yeah, no, I can see the stream.
Ah.
Party fun, good, yes, good friends, warm.
Good, right, safe, wellness, natural, nature, join, home, familiarity, fun, tasty, sweet, kind, others.
Are you actually gonna read all of that?
No, that's a
Okay.
lot. But just give
Okay.
us him.
Anyway, party fun, good, yes, good friends, warm.
Fern, can you hear us? Confirm, Fern. Kick. Good. Down.
It's true. It's good. Yes, good. Great
Good
idea.
idea.
1,000
1,000
great
great
mother
mother
fun
fun
family
family ideas.
ideas. She will. That's
That's
right.
right.
Good. Yes,
Yes,
grand,
grand.
relatable excellence will show her good love. Love will show
Yeah,
her
okay.
strive
Stop
together
if you
for
feel
fun.
weird. Like, I don't know. It's like your thoughts got a rash. It's the Parliament sound, but normally we're only experiencing pieces of that through the filter of our vessel's perception. As opposed to, well, we're not looking through a scope anymore. She's physically crossed over into some parts of old flesh reality and taken us with her. We're lucky it's just us. I don't like any of the things I think this place could do to hospital med staff. Yeah, even I'm not loving it as much as I thought I would. How's that override coming? We're slowly regaining rudimentary limb command, but not enough to pick what direction she takes us. We can defend ourselves at least, but I'm seeing no aggression from these other vessels. They appear unoccupied and autonomous. They're all just going wherever it is we're going, I guess.
Going, down. Good here, down, fun, love, friend, party, ride, squeeze. Easy, most, joy.
Down, down,
Down. Yay.
yay!
Down.
Down,
Yes,
yay.
mother lovely always.
These can't just be coming from the hospital. Wedging a few blighted zones are dribbling into one big hole. Okay, now it's advertising. Still concerning though. How's the readings? We're closing in on the signal, and it's definitely pure Parliament, bona fide, original flesh chunk. Just pretty shaky. Not a millifraction disability the wallflower was putting off, but maybe that's the whole problem. It's more harmonious with these vessels, down on their level. So a grassroots flesh chunk.
Oh,
Oh,
oh. Wait, this
Amogus.
is Harold. This is Harold. This was in Jay's room.
Oh, okay. All right.
We're here. We're here, and
Yeah.
she'll be here too.
Yeah.
Ew. That's right, kids. Bigger, higher. She'll have to come. She'll love it. She will. She will. And I can help to good. Yes, wondrous, big, terrific.
That's the guy? I could rot this punk like an old crawberry. Yes, dear, if he was in here with us, I'm sure. But what exactly is this shape? And why is it getting to me? Don't be the bunny. Don't be the. So it ain't just me. It's making me wistful. I'm over here missing my mom again. I'm suddenly wishing our kids could call more.
Oh, what's this now? Little voices in that one? Oh, she'll love it, you! With the things. Get on in here, girl. Come on, bring it in.
We should have more kids. Wait, protocol's right. Hailing flesh conceptually. This is occupied vessel FRN-1, respectfully requesting peaceful negotiation.
Get out of town. We're busy here, buckaroonies. You'll know her when you see her. You get me? You dig? She's gonna love this, love us, love me. Gonna love what happens when they left me to rot.
Buddy, I don't know or want to know. How about you just shut the hell up? and let go of our friend here before I shut you up myself! Celia, it's still old flesh. We still don't know the situation. Don't antagonize it more than we have to.
Oh, you got it, babe. You got that old flesh like a boss, Mom. Well, maybe I'm the boss now, and when I say it's garbage day today, kids, get your scoops ready and chow down!
Critch! Critch! Like, what?
Wait, no, not fun, not good, bad, great, yes, fun, nice, oh, wait, no, ouch, what, no, awful, hospital, terrible, terrific, awesome, wait, no, whoops, oh no.
It's pulling up Fern's core. System check. Cognito damage confirmed. Alright, pal. Whatever constitutes your eye, better be ready for whatever constitutes my putting a boot up it in my improvisational dialogue gimmicks.
Quiet. I have work to do, for she'll see and be here and be beautiful, and they'll know they were more broken than they thought they were wrong to begin with, but that's almost done. Yes, bigger, higher, build it better work. It makes the cookie crumble, nearly perfect, nearly finished. Shut up, nearly finished.
Yeah? Well, I don't have to know what you're making to know it sucks!
Don't talk that way about mommy. An L Basal Flesh Node attack. Music. Make sure we can hear it. No, hear ourselves. Make sure we can hear ourselves.
Got it. We can hear
Actually,
you.
Can I check the stream real quick?
Yes, check the stream real quick.
Yeah, we can be heard.
Alright.
Flesh stirs around you. Oh, I remember this one. It was like a rock, paper, scissors sort of thing going on with it.
Ooh.
Choose your action.
Slash. Status report. What's our situation? This subzone appears to be blurring the conceptual boundaries between these vile vessels. We're resisting integration for now, but several targets have broken away from the stream and are approaching quickly. We have enough control over her limbs to choose our target, but the rest is up to her vessel's instincts.
Knock her block off our end of the year's Mother Day savings bash. Prices really hit it out of the park, folks. Everything must go for broke or die shrine. Something new for a change. My mind, your beeswax. Round 1. Target the first slob. Fern slashes the talon slob. The clawed creature makes no move as Fern effortlessly shreds it to ribbons. Fern's flesh rearranges. The hammer slob strikes. Fern's new form crumples easily to a blow. The creature has been winding up the whole round.
Yuck!
Fern's flesh rearranges.
That
resembles the hammer slob.
Steph, what just happened? Conceptual boundaries compromised. Scanning for damages. I don't think we can sustain too many more blows, but Fern's internal layout is already snapping back to normal as we speak. Her external physiology shouldn't be too far behind.
What's the matter, folks? The heavy hitter's too hard for you? How are you gonna make the big leagues if you don't come around about your shell? Each herd slow and steady wins the race, but we'll see who's a loser. They're the losers. They're the trash garbage thought they could get rid of Old Harold. Current surroundings. Round 2. Target lower left slob. Fern and the thick slob attack one another. The bulky slob attempts to crush Fern in its powerful blunt limbs, but it is interrupted by Fern's counterattack. But her fist bounces off the creature's thick hide. Fern sustains reduced damage. Fern's flesh rearranges.
Oh, that's cute, actually. More data obtained. The buzzers appear to have guessed correctly which opponent was about to attack, but attacking it still caused us significant damage before Fern could complete adapting its properties. This form appears to have been highly resistant to bludgeoning, and its slow crushing strategy quite effective against hammer slob configuration.
The sharpest are you, girls? You'll all get the point soon enough because I'm telling Mom! Fern's surroundings. Oh god.
Can't that's a paragraph.
Rambling evil correctal polyp. Howdy from your tote bag, Chuckle Snacks. I'm not finished putting in the back door. Back door. Not really keen on going down with this ship, so if you're having trouble with this one, let's just recap the observable facts so far. That's not technically a spoiler. Fern automatically goes first. Maybe that's because she's not merged with the surrounding slop stream. Her surroundings matter. Your surroundings matter, and I should know. I've gotten in and out of some tight surroundings. The enemy slobs don't have health bombs. They're all part of one big tangled mess, so they either dissipate temporarily or resist even a pretty rough pounding. Only one enemy attacks each turn. When it intercepts it, she takes at most half damage. If she picks the wrong target, she takes the full brunt of the attacker. In both cases, she adapts to the assets of the target she makes contact with. Heh, assets. Or is that one a stretch? Would you say it's reaching too deep? Every slot is a damage type. Think logically about how their forms interact. Some of you got it already. So far you've seen that bludgeoning damage from the first guy does a full 10 damage to Claw Fern, but does nothing to Red Strong Sack, whose crushing damage was effective against Fist Fern. Fist Fern. Don't look at me like that. The guy made of the ass lighting heats ain't classy enough, light enough, yeesh. However, even if you figure out the interactions here, there's still a little matter of how exactly you're supposed to nail their boss. What? Not that kind of nail. Gross. Get your minds out of the gutter, freaks. Round 3. Target the hammer slog. Fern crushes the hammer slog. Fern's fist rearranges. Fern's flesh rearranges. The creature's thick bones shatter under the mighty pressure of a thick slob hug. Fern immediately reconfigures into a hammer slob. The talon slob strikes. Fern's flesh rearranges. The creature's talon bounces off of Fern's clunky hammer slob skeleton, causing no damage. Fern reconfigures into a talon slob. Harold convulses strangely. Yeah, the friggin' recoil on these things ain't no jokes on you losers. Don't do drugstore liquidation sale tomorrow. Yes, good natural vitamin supplements. Good, faster, faster. Gotta go faster, higher, bigger, thicker.
Oh, we're still on crazy base. Hold on.
It's good liquid, great red health, delicious meat.
No, we're at crazy pace, but not scary.
1,000 times. The surroundings of shit. Shapes. Round 4. Target the biobag trap. Fern slashes the trapper slob. The biobag was freed. The little creature shakes itself off and begins looking back and forth between you and the flailing, raving Harold. The jelly slob strikes. Fern's flesh rearranges. The oozing, liquid slob flows harmlessly around the spidery frame of Talon Fern, causing no damage. Fern's body softens and takes on a viscous new form. Harold convulses strangely. You're supposed to be dumber than this. You think you're better than me. You're with them. I know it. I can see I'm smart too, wise ass. Watch what I can do myself. Surroundings have shifted. Harold begins to focus, and the slob traps are swept out of reach. Round 5. Target the top right. Fern smothers the bloat slob. Fern's flesh rearranges. The jelly slob envelops and absorbs the swollen sack-like slob without damaging it or sustaining harm. Fern's body swells with strange biochemicals.
Harold is closing in. Brace yourselves, we don't know what kind of attack a flesh being might.
Harold used slap! Harold hurls himself through the air like a limp fabric puppet and smacks Fern with one of his noodly appendages. Bloat Fern explodes. Sizzling slob acid douses your surroundings. What? Impossible! They can resist my secret weapon! Fern's old polyp activates. As Fern's health reaches 0, curious green spore instantly refreshes her biomass and everyone inhabiting it. Biobag is delighted! Hopping madly, the plastic sack of filth bounces over to your side. Current surroundings. Think you're clever, don't you? Just like Wallflap and the Shrieking Box, and originally invented in 1934 as a topping for ice cream in the pointy layer with her floppy hat. Well, maybe old Harold had the right idea all along. You ever think so? No! You never think, you never get it. You never released 9 films between 1979 and 2018. You morons like the blue guy would have had it, but he didn't see what was really wrong. They never do. Do you never do? You can't be mama. 6. Target the thick slob. Fern slashes the thick slob. Fern's flesh rearranges. Having regenerated in her base form, Fern's claws do not destroy the bulky adversary, and it remains standing, just kind of wobbling there, staring. Silly. Silly.
We still love the thick fern. The thick slob fern is so cute.
I also love thick fern.
Right, our wording could have been better. Thank you.
Hammer slob strikes. Fern's flesh rearranges. The creature's punch is easily absorbed. Biobag gleefully detonates. Fern is caught in the blast. Hops over to your side. Instantly blows you up.
Sounds about right.
Harold convulses strangely. Sustaining damage from both recoil and the biobag explosion, Harold inhales sharply. Only to begin tightly clutching the general area where you would imagine he'd have a mouth if he had a mouth. Only a soft, furious gurgling can be heard as he shakes and twitches violently. The surroundings have shifted. New shapes drift by in writhing masses. Round 7. Breathe the mag boils. Fern smashes the trapper slob.
Jelly fern is also great. Oh, a red!
Strange fleshy growth ruptures under Hammer Fern's fist. The jelly slob strikes. Fern's flesh rearranges.
Nice
Oozing
one.
liquids.
We said nice one. Now we both have a mistake under our belt. See, we're equal.
Yippee!
Yippee.
The oozing liquid slob blankets the bulky and clumsy form of Hammer Fern, inflicting significant suffocation damage by the time Fern's body readapts. Fern sustains 10 damage. Bag boils clamor over Harold. The creatures are drawn to Harold immediately.
A red!
Why would you do that? What's the matter with you, good glob? They're touching me. They're touching us. They're so clammy. They're so clammy. Surroundings have shifted.
Now we
Harold's
can.
healed.
A red!
Round 8. Attack Harold. Jellyfern barely needs to be told what to do and surges straight for the flailing sack of flesh.
A red!
Fern blacked out.
We don't know how many times we peaked the mic this stream, but we did screw with our vocal cord. That was a chromosome of some sort. That was in the loading screen.
Hey, it's Maggie.
Mm,
I mean Magdalene. Sorry. Magdalene.
Did I, win? Well, you're certainly in one piece, but y'all been out cold for a couple layers. Anyone else home? Present. We lost communication with the outside at some point of the altercation. From the from the looks of it, Fern. Yeah, we wrecked that reject. How much can you remember, you? All of it. I was lucid, but it's like I didn't care about anything. Except I guess whatever it was that guy was trying to build. Fern, if I may, what precisely prompted this course of action? Huh? Which course of action? You disconnected and retrieved the monitor, as we discussed, but abruptly ran off. Subsequently, this terminal came online and found you unconscious. Didn't you tell us to free up this room? You needed the monitor? I can generate new terminals, Fern. I would never have advised you to take such a substantial risk for such a trivial convenience. I have no such recollection.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
check Harold's remains. Something obviously interfered with
That's
our.
us. That's us. Sorry. Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, that is you. Sorry, sorry.
No worries. Something obviously interfered with our last conversation. I don't know if it was Harold, but I know he almost melted my mind out of my brain. So let's figure the rest out after I make sure he's dead.
Inside the crumpled, half-dissolved burlap bag was previously Harold. There appeared to be. Wait, inside the crumpled, half-dissolved burlap bag that was previously Harold, there appear to be scraps of paper?
Oh, this is
View
you.
all on one page here. Oh, are we? Oh, we gotta read this.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, I can read this.
Mm.
It's just like Harold's messages.
Hello?
Oh,
Well,
it's also new text from Jay.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm not reading it.
Ah, we'll save it
Fuck
for
you.
the.
Fuck
Yeah.
you, Jay. I have a lot to read.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Okay, well, maybe I'll read it if it's not like completely crossed out.
It's not completely crossed out. You can still see a lot of it.
It's all crossed out.
Okay, crossed out enough. Well, let us see. There was a big nasty sack in the corner. I don't know where it came from. Crash acts like he can't see it, and I don't know anymore when he's lying to me. Either way, screw him. I threw it out. Which happened today. Ordinary food run. Exploration turned into a new one. I finally blacked out.
Okay,
Oh,
maybe I should just read it.
alright.
Ooh. Okay, let me get into voice. What was my? Mhm.
It was like some, like, today I, no, that's not it at all.
No, it was more like this. It was
Yeah,
more
that,
like this.
that,
Yes, yes.
exactly that.
Wake up! There. It was a big nasty sack in the corner. I don't know where it came from. Crash acts like he can't see it, and I don't know anymore when he's lying to me. Either way, screw him. I threw it out. Not much happening today. Ordinary food run. Exploration turned up nothing new for once. I finally blacked out like I usually do when nothing kills me. Only thing that only thing is that when I wake up again, this sack had returned.
hello? Woke up, don't remember stuff. Am thing, don't know. They don't know, hear me, but that's okay. I think they're stupid.
Found a pantry in the maze today, like a normal, nice kitchen pantry from an ordinary house. I had to chase a bunch of those little squishy guys out of it, and most of the food was moldy, but a couple things were fine. I never thought crackers could taste so good. I think this was in his journal, actually.
We don't remember it, and we edited that thing for hours.
Okay, fair. I brought back what I could, and the gross was in a different corner. I finally decided to find out what was in it, so I dragged out it into the hole and sliced it open, but it was just full of some blackish, stinking mush.
Woke up thinking better, strange to remember stuff, getting angry, someone that they could get rid of me. I don't think I was this guy. I like this story. I like this story.
Wake up, numbers. So I was doing my usual rounds when I heard someone huffing, like they were in a hurry. Turned around and a woman was running up to me. Nice looking, except she had a purse for a head. Before I could do anything, she just caught up to me and was like,
Sir, you dropped this.
I physically felt the sensation of a hand sliding up through my ribs. She pulled a pumping human heart out of her face and handed it to me. For some reason, I thanked her. Or I dropped dead.
Art.
Just blankness inside.
Oh, wait, we need to read that last sentence ourselves. I think it's a hand sliding up through my ribs. You dropped. Mm-hmm. Reason. Reason I thanked her before I dropped. Anyways, next page.
Anyway,
You ripped me up again, but then I woke up better. Remember good. I remember shapes.
oh god, this is the cake. These are the shapes coming out of the cake.
Oh, it is. It is.
Been a while since a slug did me in. I'm beginning to suspect where they come from, and I don't want to know what would make one that's just basically sludge. It flung itself over me, and I'm just glad I asphyxiated when I did because I'm pretty sure I felt my skin starting to liquefy.
They're just screaming from in here. Funny, funny, 10 out of 10.
Club number 79, Mudslide.
What medical condition could have caused this one?
Uh, well, I mean, some of them were injuries, so maybe something just melted him.
Hmm.
Wake up, whatever.
Ah,
It's been a while since I wrote. Actually, a lot of wake ups. The usual crap lately. Killing or being killed by weird and stupid things, suffocated by a big tape dispenser guy, bled dry by a cactus with sunglasses. Who cares?
that was a funny one.
I got angry that the sack was still there again, so I tried the burying trick and it still came back. I buried it completely and it came back again, just a little singed. It does literally nothing, but it bothers me that it just suddenly showed up once and that there's nothing I can apparently do about it.
Thanks for the XP.
I remember that the sack's name is Harold, but I can't actually remember deciding to call it that, so I won't. I've burned him. I've shredded him. I've fed him to one of the wall things. I've even thrown him into that big black nothing, and that place scares the shit out of me. It's almost fun to see what I can put the sack through.
You can't see this, but maybe you will. Maybe your head will keep getting clear too. I think I know who did this to us.
The sack thing sighed today. I was just about to cut it open again when it sighed, like it was happy. I swear I saw part of it move up and down like it took a breath to do it. I don't know why that got me more than anything else going on here, but I left it in the hall and ran back to my room. For some reason, I felt terrified of falling asleep because I knew it would be back.
Poor idiots. I'll fix this. They're messing with the computer, but so can I. I limit the stupid and scheme and little experiments. I told them the truth and they didn't want to hear it. She made us everything for us. She just has to see what they're doing, and I know she'll fix it. I'll fix it. I'll fix it. I'll cure it. Everyone will know I was right all along. Maybe I can get through to the hospital soon. I was wrong. There was more. There was more. There was so much more. I still don't see her for what she really is. Jay almost could, but he's such a wiener. I just really get now. You're gonna go, go, go.
We're just going to.
I don't know what happened this time. Woke up in the middle of tearing hair.
You okay?
Need to breathe, actually.
Fair enough. Get some water.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab some water, actually.
All right. In the meantime, it's just us and the non-existent chat. Yep, only one viewer, and it's probably Legend. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't expect Harold to have this much talking.
Oh no. Okay, so
Oh, no.
no stream complications yet, but let's just press start recording just in case.
I'm gonna kill you.
You
I'm gonna eat your freeze ray.
do that on a regular. You can't scare us with that.
I'm gonna eat your heat ray.
No, not our heat ray.
It's spicy.
Yeah, in a bad way. It's bad for you.
Yeah, but it's like those cartridges that Nintendo put the bad tasting stuff around. It just makes it taste better.
No, it doesn't. Okay.
Anyway,
Alright.
I don't know what happened this time. I woke up in the middle of tearing Harold apart with my bare hands. I couldn't stop myself, but I was so scared of what was inside. It was just. It wasn't black stuff anymore. Touching it filled my head with shit I can't even describe. It felt so huge, but it felt so pathetic, like being just an insect looking up a human being and knowing that this impossibly vast thing can end your life with one finger. But you can also see all their and ignorance
Here.
and failure. I keep mangling the thing and feeling afraid and guilty and glad it all. gl-
What?
Afraid and guilty and
I'm glad all at once. Legend? 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 Legend.
hello, hello.
Hello. Okay,
I don't
we
know
can
what
hear you
happened.
now.
My like Chrome just shut itself off.
Odd. Okay.
I don't know what happened. I was able to reopen it. Anyway, you. I keep mangling the thing and feeling afraid and guilty and glad all at once. For a second, I had some sort of
Realization.
realization about reality that scared me absolutely shitless, and now it's gone. Of course, the only time I wish I had even Crash to talk to, he won't even switch on.
X, 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 X. X, 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 butterfly, 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 butterfly.
And,
We don't
um,
think those are butterflies. We think those are bunnies.
moths? The gauze moths we saw earlier?
Possible. They look like they're turning into little rabbits.
Oh,
Especially on the next page.
we're the same thing, aren't we, Harold? Two punching bags. Two sacks of shit that only exist to suffer. Nothing personal, but I just don't want to be the only one.
And that's it for that section.
Cool.
We have a feeling Carol's going to be back at some point, but
Harold?
Harold, the
Oh, Harold. Right.
yeah,
Alright. Next page.
yep. Kinda thought I was numb to being disturbed anymore. It felt like it was him or me, the way he was getting in my head, but I don't even know if we technically did a good thing taking this guy out. Sometimes the enemy of your enemy is just another big bastard, Fern. Staffy, you run any data yet? I've had our team analyze Harold's behavior and speech during our altercation, contrasted it with what he appears to have written, and filled some critical gaps in with what we can translate from buzzer chatter. Thank you, whatever you are. To the best of our knowledge, Harold is a piece of the old flesh rejected as unsuitable by the rest of the Parliament, perhaps separated completely from the perceptual network they seemingly share. He seems to have a fixation on an entity wholly unknown to us, but which he regards as a maternal figure, an impression we feel as well when we observe his renditions of this being. Harold's consciousness was imperceptible to Jay, and his entire presence likely imperceptible to Crash, but the three seem to have fed into one another's erratic behavior. So, oh, we think we know exactly what Looney Tunes, not Looney Tunes, what Tom and Jerry bit this is.
Yeah, Harold is Jerry, Jay is Tom, and Crash is the dog. What's the dog's name?
Butch, we think? Butch?
Butch. I think it's Butch.
Hmm. Reckon it ain't no accident them mixed up critters got dumped on each other. Another mean little petri dish they were messing with. I've been thinking this here maze ain't as random as it might seem like. I was thinking the same thing. The plank maze exhibits a degree of chaos, certainly. It's the gunk dropped in the drain as other realities deteriorate, but the Parliament has such easy access to it as an interzonal back door. We've likely underestimated the influence they have on precisely what gets caught here. It's certainly how they dispose of some hospital staff, as you know all too well. But for all we know, everything encountered in the planks could have been curated deliberately by the old flesh for their experimentation. The same conclusions I've drawn, I'm afraid, and all but confirmed by the disparity between my recent memory and Fern's. I believe the most logical explanation is that they did not merely attempt to eliminate me, but may have at some point isolated me from the hospital and tampered with my systems. I think that they abandoned the operation once they determined Crash to be the most corruptible of us, leaving me to degrade in the maze. There's no telling how much of my knowledge and perception is truly trustworthy. I cannot in good conscience actually offer my assistance to Magdalene, as was our plan. Hold on, how do I know it wasn't just me? I can feel myself losing control of this thing I'm in the closer it got to Harold, like it really thought he had the best idea it ever heard. Whatever you actually told us, it could have just been filtered through whatever he was doing to the slob's senses. We heard Clary telling us to head to Jay's room too, but Fern has a point. We can only perceive outer space through the vessel's perceptual systems. Also, we've been eating it for generations. Let's be real, y'all. We don't know how compromised any of us might be, but we ain't all too discombobulated to recognize that something's wrong, are we? I'd rather have the help of someone who might be making mistakes than worry about whether I'm the one making mistakes all on my lonesome. I'm sure we can get somewhere, Query. We can just keep an eye on each other for any weirdness, and seeing as my position in the hospital technically outranks yours, that's my final say. I literally can't argue then, but thank you. I appreciate it insofar as a programmed entity can do so. I'm to understand you have been investigating the whereabouts of our other missing peers. Sure have. I've scourged up a few doodads and tidbits the gals here might find mighty interesting, actually, and I'd like to compare your analysis with my own before we go any further, if Fern and Company would just pardon me for a sub-layer.
See what Magdalene has collected.
With Query's help, I can narrow down some bits and bobs I've brought together that we're both pretty sure are left over from the degenerated hospital faculties. None of these are actual staff components, but they can strengthen the reconstitution of their matching entities. Thing is, some of them might not make sense to anybody in particular, and some of them are equally relevant to more than one facility. So, you're gonna want to use your imaginations here and puzzle out who you think this stuff belongs to. The more you assign to one staff, the more stable they're liable to be when we get them back online. But that's also kind of putting all our eggs in one basket, ain't it? Fewer, stronger staff would be less likely to corrupt, but more dangerous when they do. You'll just have to decide how you want to spread things.
Hypothetical hospital artifacts. Ruined bag of sugar, damp and sticky, growing patches of what must be happy microbiota. Tangled thread, a spool of strong thread, partly unraveled and badly snared. Dip net, a bent up old dip net for a home aquarium. It smells like algae. Dirty safety goggles, plastic goggles smeared with greasy fingerprints.
Hmm.
Shoddy plastic flower, a piece of a decorative plastic plant, a little tattered and dusty. You feel it's Jarona!
Shut up.
Broken laser pointer, a small cheap plastic laser pointer. It doesn't work. Water dropper, a small plastic dropper for collecting and dispensing minute amounts of liquid. Interior looks a bit gunky. A dead clam covered in googly eyes. A dead sea creature turned into a smelly knickknack. You saw this once before. It must have wound up in the maze more recently. Magnet. Just an ordinary looking horseshoe magnet. Iron. An ordinary looking iron. Barbed wire. You hope this isn't really applicable to medical care, but maybe you can use your imagination. Fine scissors. Tiny, precise scissors. Normal sized. Not the kind that can talk. Wrapped candy. Smells simultaneously like butterscotch, chocolate, and mint. Sterile saline solution. Never opened. A full bottle of salty water used for a variety of scientific and medical purposes.
Okay, so the ruined bag of sugar has to be related to the moldy bread somehow. You think?
Yeah. Also, I'm getting some like sea, like there's a dip net for like an aquarium. There's
Yeah,
like those dirty safety goggles. Those could also be like you can use goggles for swimming.
true.
And there's like the clam. Like, there's a clam.
Yes, there's a very big clam and saline solution. Does it matter that it's sterile or that it's salty water?
I don't know, but there's also the water dropper, which is also water. But I feel like the saline solution and the water dropper go together somehow, regardless of
True.
this sea theory I'm cooking up.
Fair enough.
If Boglich ever watches this stream, he's gonna be like laughing to himself, like,
Those idiots.
Hmm.
oh no, wait. Anyway, deduce deceased doctors. It's a grueling process. You debate countless hypotheticals amongst yourselves with a tidal wave of buzzer input all over the map. Eventually, you sort the objects into 4 groups, and as you do so, vague figures inside and out of vague figures fade in and out of your mind. Oh, and look, we got the clam, goggles, water dropper, saline solution. Those appear to be one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
And
water themed.
yeah, and we do see one of these people in the latest updates.
Ooh. We're
Yeah,
assuming it's the multi-bread one.
maybe.
Hmm.
It's not that much of a spoiler. There's not much here.
Hmm.
Anyway, the moldy bread vibrates stronger than anything in your possession. The bag of sugar, dip net, and magnet feel right together with it. You get impressions of caustic substances, magnification, charts, and graphs. The thread, barbed wire, and candy feel right together. The scissors remind you of surgery, but Tori doesn't need reconstruction. It's it is a close enough guess, however, to guide you in the right direction to another type of surgery. You get impressions of chattering and drilling, maybe glinting mirrors.
Oh, a dentist. Oh, gods. Terrifying.
Oh god. Oh god, I do not want to see Bog Leech's interpretation of a dentist.
Yeah.
Horrifying.
Yep. Mad
The eye.
dentistry is a whole other trip, man. It's a whole other trip. We've seen it. We've seen terrors you would not believe.
Eye covered clams, saline solution, safety goggles, and eyedropper feel right together. You get impressions of brightly shining lenses and intense white lights, maybe lettering.
Hmm.
The iron and laser pointer feel right together. The plastic flower feels right nowhere in particular, except that it would decorate a waiting room, so you use it to pad out your smallest pile. You get an impression of sparks and clanking and Jarona and oily smells.
Hmm. Alright, so this is interesting. We got a long ways to go, but I'm beginning to remember some folks. I think. We just need a couple core components for each one, and I can get them back online. You got one already for what I think was our dear labomaticians, something like that. Look for stuff that could really only fit with one of these motifs, and you'll be in business. Could be anything, anywhere. For instance, any impressions you might be getting when you consider these folks? Keep your eyes out for anything fit in those descriptions, or think back to anything you've seen around the hospital. And see about nabbing it while you continue helping out the maternity patients. Any questions?
Let's go to the next one. You chit chat a while with the weird things you're friends with. You believe you can piece some of the doctors together while you look for the remaining kids, and taking buzzer feedback into account, you all agree the lab tech might be one of the most helpful to have around first. You're about to work out your next move when something suddenly goes off in your brain. You are interrupted by an incoming signal. Garbled static sputters through your consciousness like an expensive plumbing problem. You barely catch a few snippets of meaningless chatter before you lose your grip on it.
Don't worry, Fern, we heard it too. We're locking on as we speak. Oh. Oh, I see. Oh. Was that the scissor monsters? Were they working on me? Real me? Is this about my body? Hang on. There, got it. Oh, great news, Fern. Oh, hold on. Hold on! Hang on, girl. They're still coming in quiet. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Wow, that's a relief. She'll be thrilled. Oh, oof, right. Well, whatever works. She's gray. She won't know the difference. That many? But they're dead now, right? Oh, wonderful. Splendid. That much? You cleaned it out, right? Pseudo liquid? Wow, well, property's nervec, as we say in this biz. To shreds, you say? To
To shreds,
shreds,
you
you say?
say?
That's a Futuramic reference.
Yeah, I was doing the doctor from Futurama.
Linkus voice is more like, to shreds, you say? And his wife? To shreds, you say? We don't know much about Futurama, but we know that joke.
Fair enough, fair enough.
Oh, sorry. We had another line. Please.
The phone call, or whatever it is, feels like it drags out forever. You remember for a moment what it was like to wait while your
Gab.
mother grabbed
Gab.
gabbed while your mother gabbed to friends on the phone for hours at a time. Your kid mind driven anxious and annoyed by the half-heard conversations about things you didn't quite yet grasp. Except this is the terrifying version. You try not to dwell on phrases like mostly jellied or finally inside, and particularly upsetting frequency use of the word stragglers, when finally.
All right, you too. Hugs and kisses. Well, sounds like it all came together in the end. You haven't lost anything you can comprehend enough to mind, and they even threw you a free sponge flush, hot and fizzy. I'm a little jealous. Once they had it all in one place, it was easier for them to get a bead on your signature and find out where you'd gone off to. Your vessel is pretty much ready for you. There's just, well, some things.
Actually,
Things?
you know what that reminds me of? Like
What?
Fern losing stuff she can't comprehend.
Yeah?
Uh, there's this sketch, this comedy sketch where an alien like abducts a guy, but it's like sort of presented like a doctor's visit.
Ah.
And partway through the sketch, the alien says to the guy, "In my professional medical opinion, you can't teleport."
That's right.
Anyway, keep
Yeah,
going.
that's just a tiny bit. Things? Yes. First thing is, the only clean and easy way to get you back in your bag is if this body has to respond. We can recuperate fine, but it might not be entirely fun for you. Well, hey, just putting this on the table, but I could certainly go for an early lunch. Next thing, please. Next thing is, there are some obvious advantages to your presence in this form. But we have a constant communications line with you, and you can perceive things that we can't. But on the other flagellum, Harold showed us how dangerous that can be. We got some excellent data from him, but getting you back wasn't easy, and we don't know how much further your perception could drift. Whenever you return to your body, you should be quite a bit safer. Celia is bugging me to mention pretty juicy XP migration, and you can regroup with your friends at the hospital while we remain here. Sorry, providing support to Magdalene and Query. The longer you remain in this form, the more and more vulnerable you'll likely be to Parliament's influence, but the more vulnerable they'll also be to our interference, and you're still a bit more durable this way. It's all up to you. We'll let you think about it. Your buzzers too, if you feel that they should have a say.
Return or continue?
Hmm.
Return to your body.
Oh, sorry, we were admiring the picture of her. Sorry. Okay, I'm ready to go back. Just, make it click. No sweat. Just stand back and don't move. Wait, maybe this is a bad idea.
It doesn't hurt as your world goes dark, but you definitely feel it. For a moment, like an avalanche of tiny, soft screws simultaneously twisting into every single millimeter of your skin. You try to concentrate on something else as your consciousness fizzles out. You wonder what the kids have been up to while you've been away.
And here we
And that is
go.
the transition into this. I'm gonna go pee before we get into this.
Makes sense. We're going to drink some water.
I will also. Okay, I'll be back.
Sorry, just drink some water, resting our voice, because we voiced act a lot, and Legend's going to voice act a lot more. Mm. Plus, it gives us an opportunity to respond to some messages. You know. By the way, a huge thank you to the anonymous person who fulfilled one of our gifts on Throne.com. pretty huge deal. Thank you. And also a thanks to, we're not sure if this person wants us to say their name, so we won't. But thank you to the person who might be the same person who sent us $50 on Cash App. That was also very kind. We made sure to make good use of it. We got big thing of the piece of delivery. Though, look, we know we're immortal and that we shouldn't be affected by weight gain too much, but psychologically that's still a thing, and we do want to maintain healthiness for our own mental sake. We're just hoping it doesn't turn into anything harmful. So, hmm,
I had a thought while I was in the bathroom.
yeah.
You like stitch the stream onto the recording, like the first bit that wasn't recorded.
Uh, yeah, we can.
Okay. I'll like tell you to do that when I remind you to upload the VOD.
Right.
Anyway,
Assuming that there aren't any, assuming that there are going to be interruptions or anything.
yeah. I mean, even if there are interruptions, it's a little more complete. Anyway, Willis C. Torrey was like any typical child. Energetic, curious, approximately 2 to 5 inches tall, depending on the drawing, and made entirely of blood vessels that were shaped kind of like a little guy. He was especially most typical of all for a child inhabiting a manifestation zone in which nothing like Nintendo exists, or maybe only exists as a weird little guy somewhere with a Nintendo for a head who probably just plays you like a video game while he digests your brain or something like that, and was also probably busy somewhere anyway, which is all to say that Willis was horribly, horribly bored. Uh, I'm bored, said Willis as he floundered around the hospital floor, leaving perfectly Willis shaped patches of cleanliness as dirt clung to his slimy veins. This was an activity he might have been extensively invested in if there had been something else he was supposed to be doing instead. But since there was currently only a long list of things he would outright prefer to be doing, he knew without question that his present situation was seriously the worst ever.
We're
Roll
gonna stop.
credit.
We're gonna stop you for roll credits. Yeah. We're gonna stop you for a second and say this will result in a lot of moments of silence for us, which
Yeah.
we're not sure what to do on the stream other than just nod.
There will be a girl.
All right, at least
I
one.
drew her in the thumbnail.
Oh right, her. What voice did we do for her again?
I think I suggested you do like a pack a day
Right,
voice.
a smoker voice like this, something like this.
Yeah.
All right,
If that doesn't ironically hurt your throat in and of itself.
yeah.
He had waited far too many layers for Fern to reawaken. Fern was someone else's mom who had found him alone when she intruded into his own mom's private office and then became his best friend, which was not important to unpack right now. She had also gotten her meat dead again, and her conceptual core was taking exceptionally long to put its meat back on. But this didn't totally worry Willis because sometimes adults just did that, and they always told him everything was fine. It usually wasn't, but he was a mostly good kid who didn't press the issue. "Rawr," said his other friend, Isaac, who used to be the meat of someone who didn't need it anymore and would never be all that terribly important again. Fuck you! But if for some reason he was your favorite thing in this series, God help you, you might still want to see all this nonsense through to the end. Honest. You're right, said Willis, who, for the record, has actually never known what Isaac is saying, but interprets the sounds as he pleases and just assumes, with an unflinching child confidence, that he literally understands the creature's speech. This time, what he imagined he heard was the suggestion to tackle some of Fern's ongoing business all by themselves. If she had been back if she had been back in her meat, she might have told them to just stay out of trouble. But watching her get killed repeatedly by cute, tasty animals, and sometimes littler kids than himself, was making him feel increasingly like she needed his protection at least slightly more than the reverse. Which was.
Whoa. Sorry, we just realized. Oh, Fern has been killed by literal children a lot.
Yeah, Fern was killed by a child in, like, I think it was the last stream.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
the stream before the last one.
yeah.
Like Allie, like one of the daughters of like the big thing. Like
Yeah,
she poked her head up into the abyss and then it chomped her instantly.
yeah,
Yeah. By the way, I kind of like Willis and Fern's like dynamic
yeah.
where Willis is technically more knowledgeable of weird like zonal shit.
And more powerful to boot.
Yeah, but Fern is obviously more wise.
Yeah, more wise and also very motherly.
Yeah, that's
Motherly
part of the
protection
wisdom.
instincts. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, was making him feel increasingly like she needed his protection at least slightly more than the reverse, which was under several circumstances correct. It can't be that hard to find some dumb old babies. At this, a metallic box on the ceiling hurriedly fizzled to life. It was their friend Chip, who was made of numbers instead of meat, at least on this layer. On some layers, they were the opposite things, on some, they were the exact same thing. Willis was just beginning to wonder if number meat had number blood and how it tasted when Chip spoke in his stammering way that someone didn't have the energy to write this time, and it's not like Willis ever really noticed it.
We're gonna add in our own stuttering. Willis, as a hospital staff and the only conscious adults present, I must insist that due to unpredictable danger levels, you must remain here until Fern reconstitutes, regardless of how bored you are. I know you think you should be helpful, but it's not the best idea to do whatever you please. As adults, shouldn't have too much trouble sorting out our problems. Promise.
You're not my real dad.
Who is your real dad, Willis?
Tom
Hello?
Jones.
Oh, of course. He's everybody's dad. He's the scout's
Yes, anyway,
dad.
yes. It would have been a good idea for Willis to pay attention to these words, but he was still thinking about number blood. And then he got to thinking about how the number 5 looked like a worm, and worm blood was gross, so maybe number blood was gross. Or maybe just number 5 blood was gross. Or maybe number 6 blood, by being one more than a worm, was a little less gross. And then he wondered how many numbers you had to count up for the really good blood. In any case, what Willis heard Chip say was this.
Willis, as hospital staff and the only conscious adult present, I must insist that due to how bored you are, you should be helpful. It's the best idea to do whatever you please. Us adults have too much trouble tackling our problems on our own.
Exactly, said Willis. Where do we start?
Willis, no.
Implored Chip.
Your mother would be furious.
He's also your boss, so you can't tell me what to do.
Said Willis, pronouncing the emoticon as smugly as a child can muster. Sighed. Sorry, my chair is creaky.
Alright, we'll say again.
Sighed Chip. Willis was correct. He technically outranked most hospital staff and para staff. Didn't usually matter because there wasn't usually anything so hazardous going on.
If you truly insist, Willis, then I have in fact have just now received some rather interesting data on the likely whereabouts of the missing patients. And I have calculated the safest, that is, the most exciting course of action you could take to aid the hospital as well as Fern. But
He continued.
This is still an important responsibility, Willis. You're going to have to take this seriously. If you encounter any unexpected threats, Fern will need you to make a tactical retreat and report your findings to me immediately, Lily. Can you do that for us, Willis?
Willis nodded with great enthusiasm and beamed with visible confidence in a very mature fashion, which was enough to reassure the worried adult, even though Willis hadn't actually listened to anything he just said, but had only just concluded that blood would begin to taste its most delicious at number 19. This is correct,
All right.
said Ship.
I know we can trust you to hurry back if anything happens.
And so began a humble misadventure that wouldn't quite be anything like what Fern gets up to, but would still advance the A plot and feature some degree of audience participation, maybe even battle scenes, without taking nearly as much real-world time as her attempt to fix one computer, or her attempt to retrieve one identification card, or her attempt to figure out one password. Good Lordford, you could seriously use a running narrator to help things moving along. It's really not too bad. It's really not too bad. That would suck all the sodium out of your body and replace it with pure chlorine. Gray's orders miss out on all the best stuff that way. Where were we? Oh, that's right. And so began Willis and Isaac and the boring library where nothing happens.
We feel like that title is a lie.
What? It's a boring library where nothing happens. Look. See? Also, I like the fact that nepotism is canonically part of the hospital.
What do you mean?
You know what nepotism
Oh,
is?
right.
Yeah,
Willis is a
nepotism.
nepo baby.
Willis is he is a nepo hospital staff.
Yes.
That's such a hilarious concept.
Yeah.
Anyway. Oh wait, I need to breathe.
You okay?
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like I don't breathe enough.
How do you mean?
I don't know. Like sometimes I breathe in and then I feel like I'm just getting like undercut. I'm not getting my cut of the air.
Hmm.
Somebody took my cut of the air.
Do you have asthma or anything like that?
What?
Do you have asthma or anything like that?
I don't think so. I think I just have a lot of phlegm in my throat.
Fair enough. We suggest talking to your doctor about it if it's an issue.
My doctor. I need to talk to a humorologist. Humors are out of balance.
Watch yourself. You know you're talking to a mad scientist here.
Yeah. Can you do something about my humors, doc? I got too much phlegm in me.
We guess phlegm is technically a humor.
What do you mean technically? It's one of the 4 basic humors.
Oh, right. We don't know our humor theory well because we actually focus on science. Mad science, granted. But science!
Well, as an assistant to a mad scientist, I think I would know that humor theory is objectively true.
That does not give you the kind of authority you think it does.
Anyway.
Let's read!
The library was not previously a zone Willis had found pertinent to experience. And it also wasn't like Isaac would have recognized as it also wasn't like Isaac would have recognized as a library at all. Towering, twisted shelves of books stretch infinitely into the nothingness where a ceiling ought to be, creaking and cracking as they gently swayed in rhythm with the zone's conceptual pulse. Willis had tasted book blood once, and it was a dry, dusty sort of blood with too many chewy little words floating around in it. But he wasn't here to taste the local flavors. He was here because his friend Chip had gotten a bunch of complicated, boring information that said the library might be the last known whereabouts of a patient's missing child. Chip had said that since the Old Flesh, the bad guys, but if you needed to be but if you needed to be told this, you'd better go back to page 1 of the webcomic. We're involved. Anything unusual about the library might make a good lead. Or maybe it was anything not unusual enough. It was pretty much the same thing around here. As Willis and his gooey friend finished sliding into the zone, a single book flapped down from an upper shelf and plopped down on the floor in front of them. "Well, howdy do there, Sonny," squealed a squeaky voice. Willis had met the source of the voice before, and had never particularly looked forward to meeting it all that much more. He sighed. "Hi, Mr. Librarian," he said, the being's vibro-signatures of stuffy adulthood making him sleepy already. Smiling madly and staring off at nothing in particular, he estimated Professor Lexicovernus.
Esteemed.
The esteemed Professor Lexicovernus bobbed back and forth through the hole in the open book, as though he thought the library silence was an exceptionally groovy jam. She did indeed. "Boy, oh boy, you do sure smell medicinal. You're a hospital boy, aren't you?" The little bookworm shrieked in a voice which, off the record, might have been performed by voice actor Mark Justin Roiland if he were just experiencing an unusually phlegmy puberty. Willis didn't remember the professor always shrieking, and wondered if being in his own library was just that exciting to the guy. Unfortunately for everyone, it was. Yeah, I'm supposed to find somebody who might be here, and boy, oh boy, totally do have you come to the right place to read some books. We got all kinds of fine kinds of books: words books, picture books, tiny bumps books, noises books, flavor books, pain books, itchiness books, motion books, liquid books, negative space books, books for every sensory system, books to fill up every kind of thinking parts with all the latest juicy knowings. The professor wailed rapturously, spinning around and giggling a little. Disregarding what Willis had actually said, this particular reaction would have been a little worrying to an adult, but an unfortunately universal constant of reality was that a lot of adults don't really care to listen to children anyway, making it difficult at best for many children to tell whether this kind of behavior was anything to be concerned by. It was, however, just as universal for adults to become very attentive the moment a child says something that they do not like. And what Willis said was, "That's okay, I don't want books." Eh? The silence should have been awkward, but Willis was just relieved the professor had stopped talking. "I see," said the professor in basically just a regular guy's voice all of a sudden. "What do you want, then?" I mean, well, stopped for a moment, improvising what he hoped the grown-up would want to hear. "I'm here to do, doctor stuff, which I already learned by reading a million books." Okay, that breaks again. Salome, of course, the hospital.
The hospital. The constable. You know, it's specifically the American branch of the hospital.
Hospital.
Nice.
Yes, I think I read a book about the hospital once. Anyway, the hospital sent you on busy dittiness? Of course, silly me. Just so happens we might have some little wee bitty tiny little problems that aren't anything for our fine patrons to concern themselves with, but that maybe some fine medical folks could take a look-see about. Wee-hee-hee-hee-hee. The laughing continued a whole lot longer than that. It definitely did. But you get the idea. He was back to spinning around now. His response still wasn't a clear match for what Willis had told him, but Willis was a clever kid, or kid equivalent entity, and he could work with it. I'm trying to do Mr. Meeseeks for him, because most people assume he sounds like Mr. Meeseeks.
Fair enough. I'm Mr. Meeseeks, look at me!
Mr. Meeseeks, look at me. That's my Meeseeks voice, and that's also his voice.
Can do.
Yeah, that's right, Mr. Doctor. Yeah, that's right. Mr. Dr. Phage sent me to see if you have, Any books that are acting funny or anything messed up like that? Of course, of course. Let's see. Let's just have us a fun thinking. The professor seemed to be straining hard to complete the thought. His little cartoon worm face was almost as red as Willis. That's right. I was in Remature Readers Hall, text format sector that inverse historical blue violet quasi fiction, unincubated, static matter authors W to G5. That was it. Alvin Braxton Calvin said there was a nasty vibe around these parts. Says the books are cased in pretty sour. No thanks. Not for me, pal. Not gonna eat no gross old sour books. Blah. He pointed, with the tassel on his hat, to the being he called Alvin Braxton Calvin, a flattened creature with slimy fins and metallic scales and hairy little legs that perched a few rows up the nearest shelf tower. It waved its feathery feelers and grasped its damp gills for a few moments before clambering down to the floor and scuttling in what was presumably the direction of the sour books. Willis had no way of knowing whether this was really Alvin Braxton Calvin and whether it could really communicate such complex information, but he also had no reason to doubt it. In the distance, if you paid enough attention, the same scratchy, scurrying sound echoed through the library. Huh.
Next page.
She.
Flap, flap.
Page 3.
Sorry, we're just making a sound effect for the book flying. Like a
Yeah.
bird.
Ooh. A lot of gas in my lungs today.
Hmm.
Willis and Isaac followed the shiny, scurrying thing on a long, winding path through the bookshelf forest. They saw flocks of magazines flapping through the dusty atmosphere, pamphlets slithering and slinking from gaps in the carpeting, crumpled notes scuttling in swarms between wastebasket nests, and lazy dictionaries wallowing in swamps of ink. But the further they went, the less lively their surroundings, until their fishy guide suddenly refused to take a single step further. The admittedly tasteless flooring of the library, a patchwork quilt of carpets too hideous for either airport or convention center alike, had come to an end rather abruptly. Its edges almost visibly fizzled and receding in if you stared at them long enough, and giving way to grayish wooden boards that had become quite familiar by now. Really? Planks already? This place is a mess, isn't it? The bookshelves ahead were similarly rustic, and the books lining them almost eerily mundane. Books you would even find in your own silly little world, like about how to file your tax returns, or about the collector's value of licensed cookie jars, or your preposterous assumption that birds were ever more than one entity.
What?
Oh yeah, birds are a single entity. The government.
Oh, right.
The dust here was a The dust here was as thick as a fog bank, and the dim yellow lighting flickered in places despite not coming from any particular light fixture. Only one thing broke the dismal silence: pages being turned from the other side of a particularly unhappy looking shelving unit. Willis couldn't smell anything dangerous ahead, but then he couldn't smell much of anything ahead at all. There was only that irregular sound, an abrupt page flip every few moments. After a few of those, there may have also been the sound of a harsh, quick sigh, or maybe a kind of derisive snort. A few more pages turned, and a second snort was unmistakably the derisive kind. Emitted Isaac, eyelid frowning. Willis interpreted this as a sort of judgmental distaste, but not necessarily any fear for whatever lay ahead, and this interpretation was one of the correct ones. Willis wasn't certain whether he should approach the unknown entity openly or stealthily. Sometimes things had ways of knowing they were being watched, and sometimes they got angry that something was attempting to spy on them, and Willis was still way too full of blood to want to deal with that right now. It was entirely irrelevant to Willis and to our story, but the person making me say all these things was, as usual, very sorry for how long it had been taking, and wanted someone to know that this page was not the entire update. It was split up to give readers their first possible fork in the rest of the story. No skin off my back. The longer this part of the series takes, the more time I have to figure out how to break out of here and eat some of you. Take all the time you need to decide what Willie should do. Maybe even argue about it a bit. Pretend I'm not here. Yep, the narrator is a character too.
Great. Great. And a quite deadly one at that.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't scroll down too fast.
Right.
Actually, scroll down like just a bit and wait until I finish this.
Alright.
Approach openly. As it happened, a significant enough proportion of readers decided that Willis should boldly march up and introduce himself to whoever or whatever was around the corner, and that he should have Isaac stay back in case there's trouble. And so this is what the unseen buzzers relayed to the child from between the veils. Huh? You thought the readers were the buzzers? Well, you can go ahead and think of it that way if you prefer, but it's a little more complicated than that. Nobody told you? Really? Forget it was me then. Also, I'm pretty sure we technically did figure this
Yeah.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was Saturday.
technically, he especially with the concept of medicine itself, answering a question no human would ask.
Yeah, it's almost like I think her name was Marcy.
Yeah, Marcy, that's right.
Yeah, it's like Marcy just like her conversation with Fern was forgotten, and now the narrator itself has not even like acknowledged it.
Fair enough.
Anyway, funnily enough, Willis had no idea anyone was influencing his decision at all. Bet that raises questions for some of you too.
It
And
does.
so, yeah, literally Chris Deltarune.
No, Chris is very much aware. Very much.
Willis is gonna have to pull all of the buzzers out, put them in a trash can, and your soul has left your body.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, and so, someone's unsupervised child, under a naive presence of free will, acted upon specifically your consensus to approach a total stranger, fearlessly following the sound of its unknown source. A being his perception sphere actually struggled for a moment to process, unsteadily, as though it would not have been able to do so at all if the being was not preoccupied. By what, Willis never comprehended nor particularly cared. Being reminded him of someone he knew, except that the bland, sort of damp and staunchy scent of the gray zone was practically smothered to death beneath the roiling, chromatovibrational chemosignatures of countless other, sometimes dreadfully unfamiliar zones. It was the otherworldly miasma of one who has plumbed darker realities than should ever rightfully exist to the plumbed, the cacophonous aura of which roams the most blasphemous catacombs of being with spiteful disregard for the impermanence of whatever we may dare define as one's sanity. That, and a little dash of the funk you might expect from someone who puts out a lot of cigarettes and a lot of half finished plastic cups of gas station wine. Best character. Hi!
Terrible. Horrible. Uh, child. Child. Can I help you?
I love this. I love this. I love how she just puts her porn away.
And it's a very long centerfold, is that?
Yeah, I mean that whatever centerfold is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's a centerfold.
Oh,
Yeah, usually there's only one other that drops down, not like a whole list.
yeah. I mean whatever she's looking at is probably pretty alien to us.
Yeah, but she's into
Yeah.
it. For sure, a lot of people would be.
Oh, she's definitely into it. I mean, we literally just heard she does a lot of zone hopping.
Yeah, fair enough. For sure, a lot of real life people would be into it too.
Yeah,
Anyways,
advanced monster fucker.
yeah, anyways. Can I help you?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Wait, hold on. Are we? Oh, yeah, yeah. Anyway, page 5. Question the weird lady. The different fern glowered down at the intrusive child. It so happened that this individual was not a fan of children on a good day, and in her honest opinion, the last good day she had was the day she got the whole womb to herself after finally absorbing the first person she had ever met.
Ooh,
Naive. Yeah. That's some like gray man type shit.
yeah. This is now out the territory of something a kid could theoretically read.
Naive and optimistic, Willis incorrectly misinterpreted the words
Can I? This is your. Oh, can I help you?
as meaning
Can I help you?
rather than something like.
How about you find a nice freeway to play in?
You have to give her some credit for actually caring enough to say the other thing, though. Maybe she wasn't all bad? Perhaps that doesn't matter. Some of you are probably going to decide that for yourself no matter how the story goes from here. And then just her. All of her drawings are peak.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm Willis. What's your name? You smell weird. Are you from the gray zone? My friend Fern has the same stuff on the outside of her blood. Are you friends? And your dialogue portraits are all weird. The fucking dialogue portraits. They're all smiling. They aren't supposed to smile. I'm sure of it. Okay.
Hmm,
I forgot to mention this the other day, but
yeah,
I checked the Wayback Machine.
yeah.
Uh it only goes back to 2023, but I do believe the first time we meet Cheryl for dialogue portraits, that was an update made back in 2020. So I think sometime between 2020 and 2023, her dialogue portraits got fucked up, and I don't know how.
Hmm.
This might still just be my strange conspiracy. I might be going insane. Bog Leech, fix my sanity. Anyway.
Bogleach, make his sanity worse.
No, that's your job.
Alright, you're right, you're right.
Anyway, Cheryl.
Cheryl. So do you. Yeah, more or less. No, we don't know each other.
The little screaming guy said something was wrong this way. Have you seen anything wrong? Are you what's wrong?
Don't look at me, I just ran out of reading material. Some chick was pretending to be a nurse or something and left me hanging.
That's Fern! She was looking for her baby, and then everybody else's babies. Did you lose a baby?
The kids are accounted for. I was waiting to pick up the dog from the vet when everything got weird. I mean, different weird than it's supposed to be.
What's a dog? Is it a gray zone person?
Yeah, the little hairy kind that pisses me off. I actually thought I got a whiff of the bastard when I shifted in here, so I thought I'd poke around for anything that looks shat on and ruined.
Oh, maybe that's exactly what's wrong. Is the dog thing full of gray zone bloods?
Usually.
Guess what? I'm really good at finding bloods.
Heh, just like your mom, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
I can work with that. I'd definitely love to get the hell on with my life.
We could help each other find the dog. I could smell for bloods, and you could smell for pisses you off. Maybe you could fix the library.
Well, it might be rotting in a waiting room. I think your gross eyeball buddy might be useful too. Just not so much at hiding.
Oh, well, that's Isaac. It's made of someone else's meats.
Everything is, kiddo.
By the way, you don't have to steal books at the library. They're free.
Let's get going.
Page 6. Meanwhile, Professor, Pro- Professor Lexicovermus was overjoyed beyond all wholesome sense. 3, possibly 4 distinct entities were physically patronizing the library at the same time, and he could have practically exploded as he twirled with glee. Unit request status report,
Oh,
buzzed the looming visitor. It all
we'll read those bits because you're reading a lot.
okay,
Unit unit request status report.
buzzed the looming visitor. It always asked these kinds of things on these kinds of visits, and it was harder every time to get the little bookworm to pay attention. Boy, oh boy, wailed the professor. Folks sure are reading some reads, these here layers, I tell you what, I tell you, folks sure are, that's whoa Nelly. He was even less coherent than the last meeting, which was quite irritating for this particular visitor, yet it also indicated desirable progress.
Unit request status report.
The thingy repeated. It watched the professor spin some more. His rapturous shrieking was turning into weird, indescribable barks. The being sunk a little, then pondered something.
This unit requires status report before unit can resume enjoyment of literature.
The professor snapped to attention, remembering with clarity what it was he was supposed to do, though unfortunately not at all remembering why.
This poor
Oh!
bookworm.
Yeah, he's a bookworm.
This poor bookworm. The, the,
Yeah,
the, the parliament's screwing with him.
he reminds me of the PopCap game Bookworm.
Yeah, we think it's meant to, at least a little bit.
Yeah. Oh gosh, oh yeah, of course, it's all good. Peachy Kino, things were looking, not so fine, really, but the hospital sent a real nice young lad to have a look-see at.
Undesirable response.
The entity interrupted with a booming vibro signal that could shudder gels.
Our operatives have arranged no known hospital intervention by a developmentally incomplete male. Can you confirm these specifications?
Oh, jeepers, I think the professor disappeared down into his book hole for a moment, as though he had to physically find the memory. Which he did. Yeah, Peruna, here we go. There's the little feller, he said, sharing the memory image of Willis by a process you would only understand with at least a Class T fluid-based sensory system. The visitor did whatever a double take looks like for the kind of thing it was.
Unacceptable. Subject remains impenetrable to outside influence. Impact by subject on current operations is unacceptably unpredictable. Subject could compromise stability of our operations within this zone.
Goodness gracious, gravy on top, ain't that a sticky old wicket? The professor hollered with concern, still smiling, having no idea anymore what those operations were supposed to be, or whatever he had actually approved of them. He hadn't. What? Hey, come back here, come back. What? No, we do, Georgie, old pal. He asked of the ominous figure who had not been going anywhere and was not named Georgie.
Do not be alarmed. Subject detected in vicinity of operative GRZN 023982247. Refrain from interference and allow our operative to neutralize the threat.
The professor slowed, and his expression sunk. The implication of the being's words was stirring something deep beneath the fog of madness that had rather recently replicated his usual, more productive madness. That's. Hold on. That's not. We don't do that here, fella. Ain't no fighting when there's books to read. Little guy's a kiddo guy. If there's a troublemaker troublemaking in our fine readery here, that's pretty sure that's my jurisdiction to deal with myself, not some. Uh, who did you say? Oh, wait. Who are you exactly? The entity did not answer the question. It had prepared several possible responses in the event that the professor became so uncomfortably cognizant.
Oh no, Professor. This unit has recalled the facts previously omitted from our communications. It seems that this unit does not know how to read in Hyzixilia script. It is urgent that this unit be educated on this matter.
I I can't be sure of this, but I think those might be Roman numerals.
Possibly. We don't think so.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, this was not a very good lie, mind you. Hyzixilia script was a language so okay, it's not Roman numerals, it's a language. I'm
Yeah.
stupid.
No, you're not. You're wonderful.
This was not a very good lie, mind you. Hyzixixilia's script was a language so simple it was easily readable to your world's goldfish, and not even the branchinated ones. Nonetheless, the professor's tiny jaw dropped, and his glasses spun around, making a ridiculous noise as they did so. Whoop, whoop, whoop. You're telling me that what I think you're telling?
Affirmative, Professor. Oh, please, teach me to read.
The prolonged screech of excitement emitted by the professor was, coincidentally, identical to what a pterodactyl used to sound like. So it's too bad that you can't hear it right now. It wasn't even halfway through this screech that he had forgotten his concerns, and in fact, forgotten nearly everything else that was going on again. I love I love that shit.
Yeah, was coincidentally identical to what a pterodactyl really used to sound like, so it's too bad you can't hear it right now. It's very Hitchhiker's Guide. It's a very
If this
Hitchhiker's Guide sentence.
if this is what the Hitchhiker's Guide is like, I need to it's a book, right?
It's a series of books, 5 of them. The 5th
I
one's a
need
bit of a
to
downer, but the other 4 are great.
the
We
fifth one's a
highly
bit of a
recommend them.
the fifth one's a downer in like what? It's written bad or
It's
it's
just
like
sad.
it's just it's got like an actual story to it.
All of them have an actual story to it. It's just that the ending of the last one is more cynical, we'll say.
Oh, I assumed it was just like the Rick and Morty. Hey, don't go to the next page yet. I haven't read everything.
Right?
Anyway, I assumed it was like Rick and Morty's interdimensional cable where they just go like, "Oh, here's a bunch of weird shit. Here's what happens if the number 42 was the meaning of life."
Uh, so what happens with 42 specifically is that they have a computer named Deep Thought. Deep Thought was designed to calculate the answer to the question of life,
No,
the universe, and everything.
I've heard about this. I just don't know how it would. I just assumed this was like it was like the written version of a bunch of comedy sketches. I didn't consider the idea that Beep Dot and like 42 yada yada
Hmm.
was part of a grander story.
It is. It is. It's all part of a grander story. But also,
Anyway,
we do want to finish our explanation because the thing about the reason it takes centuries to come up with an answer, probably not centuries, but it takes a long time to come up with an actual answer to the question of the of life, the universe, and everything. And the answer to that question is 42 because people have no idea what the actual question was.
yeah, and the question isn't something that equals 42.
Possibly. People don't
I
know the
know this.
question.
I've read about this. Anyway,
Alright.
confident that it could keep the professor occupied, the visitor silently transmitted a new set of directives to operative GRZN-023982447. The professor had quite possibly already forgotten again what they were doing, but he was growing more susceptible to suggestion by the layer.
This poor bookworm. We, we feel so bad for him.
Howdy do!
We know we know that normally he'd be crazy like we're crazy. But right now he's just yeah.
He got himboified.
It's the same thing that's happened with Phage. It reminds us too much of dementia and things like that.
Yeah, you know, I was gonna mention Phage, like that moment of lucidity. In fact, I fucking love like when a crazy character just has a moment of lucidity.
Hmm. Like he's still crazy, obviously, because there are no sane people. Sanity is a lie made up in order to put people in line. But
Yeah, Lewis
you
is
know,
crazy. Isaac is crazy. Cheryl is 100% crazy,
yeah.
and also she's giving us the death stare. I think she. Well, let's read.
Hmm.
Willis, Isaac, and the Weird Lady were not making the best progress. They had been following the edge of the library's deterioration for an exceptionally long and uneventful layer. Willis had yet to pick up on the scent of any unidentified blood, but he reasoned that the border between regular library and plankified library was the most likely place to find someone or something that was still in the act of messing up the place. At least, that was his plan when he last remembered exactly what he was doing. He was a little preoccupied with having hypothetically made something he considered a new friend, whether or not the feeling was mutual. "Hey, Miss Cheryl!" he exclaimed, proud of the way he always just knows exactly how someone's name is spelled.
Yeah, what?
Probably what Cheryl responded with, but her exact words weren't as important to Willis. "Do you know the Parliament?" he asked. "Wait, do you know the Parliament?" asked Willis, in that special way kids tend to ask questions much more loaded than their social experience can contain.
Eh,
Said Cheryl, who didn't care enough to correct any of the child's spelling.
I don't get into politics.
She said, in the special way adults tend to dismissively refer to things as politics that have nothing to do with matters of governance. "That's weird. They want to make everything just one thing. It sounds dumb, but I'm already one thing, but it really scares grown-ups. And some of them act all wrong now. I guess I'm a little scared too." Cheryl hadn't been terribly invested in the conversation, but she did go a little quiet.
You know, kid, where I'm from, even you would scare most people, like, literally to death.
"What? Is that why they're so loud?" said Willis, remembering how your species has responded in the past to being almost lethally exsanguinated by a small talking bundle of arteries. The number of human beings actually killed by your beloved Willis as he played in other zones was not zero, in case you never deduced that before. But that's probably as much about the subject as you're ever going to know, so you can just have fun chewing on that nugget forever.
Uh, okay, 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 okay,
Uh, oh, are you okay?
okay. Yep. Just the knowledge that Willis has likely killed a man.
Come on, he didn't mean it. He was just playing.
Yeah, true.
And thirsty. This is your line. This is Cheryl.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, well, I've been there too, you know.
Continued Cheryl, who correctly guessed that Willis was referring to the eliciting and who correctly guessed that Willis was referring to eliciting the terrifying death wails of more than zero people.
I remember my old lady the first time I branched in front of her. She had no freaking idea what was happening. Her eyes bugged clear out of their sockets.
This was a sentiment she meant very literally, and she never did find out where the ocular orbs had subsequently scurried off to.
Ugh.
"Oh, you had a mom too?" said Willis, because that was the part of that sentence that stuck out to him as interesting.
Had one, yeah. Don't know what you would have called it after all that.
Cheryl cracked an actual, genuine smile for once at the memory of what she considered to be the best birthday ever.
See,
She was
see,
just,
see, you were right. Because an actual genuine smile.
yeah.
You're right. Why is every portrait of her smiling?
I think there's something wrong with them. I can't be 100% sure, but I'm very
That or
sure.
Bogleach is intentionally gaslighting people.
Bogleach isn't gaslighting people. I've heard no one talk about this. Bogleach is gaslighting me specifically.
Anyways.
Bogleach, fix this. Anyway, I do believe her dialogue portraits, like she has other dialogue portraits later on in this story.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was just about to add something else that you might have considered noteworthy when Isaac, who had been plodding along with contended blubbering, stopped short and emitted a blurble of a more disconcerted variety. "Arr,"
Something's wrong with your dead guy.
said Cheryl as she nearly bumped into the distorted clump of former J flesh. The border of the planks took a sharp turn up ahead of them, putting them face to face with a couple rows of plankified bookshelves. Unlike most of the library shelves, their tops could be seen, but their ends could not, stretching on in unknown distance. Willis couldn't detect any fear from Isaac. He could detect a sort of confused, mildly disgusted worry. The kind you might feel if, let's say, you opened your mailbox to find nothing inside but a warm and partially eaten hot dog. Oh, there's two
Big,
branches.
big red
Paths,
book.
branches. Yeah. Heads or tails, call it. Anyway,
Heads.
oh, I just looked at your OBS.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm pretty sure
Oh,
the
there's chat.
actual text.
Hi, Bread.
Oh shit. Wait. Hi. I'll be
Hmm.
starting school in 2 days, so sorry if I miss your streams.
That's
Um,
alright. Don't worry.
that's all right, Red. Anyway, I was gonna say I do believe the. Can you scroll down a little bit? Okay, so the text can fit in the black bars, but the uh like big text that announces the thing, it just goes a little bit off of the black bars on your stream.
We see.
But I mean, I'm reading it anyway, so.
Yeah, fair enough.
The Red Book is an obvious trap. Do not read the Red Book. Do not touch the Red Book, unless you make Cheryl do it. Red Book bad. Red Book danger.
Unless you make
Though,
Cheryl do it.
well, I mean, she's probably more equipped for this.
Fair enough.
Though Willis could not consistently pick up on buzzer activity, he was still a clever enough child to know whenever something was obviously suspect. Why weren't there even any other books down that entire aisle? He wagered the Red Book either scared them all off or already murdered and ate them, which were entirely possible scenarios whether or not they were actually what had transpired. Proud of
Hmm.
his responsible thinking, he carefully examined his reasoning to his companions and asserted that they should avoid the right hand bookshelf at all costs, following the mysterious footprints to the.
Yeah, shut up a second, kid. Your buzzers are flipping their shit about this book. I want to see if it kills me.
Will it? View. Ah. Oh. The boy!
Hey. Hey. Ooh. Ah. Yum. Hmm. Ah. Oh. Ah. Yum. Ah. Hmm. Yum. Ram. Ah. Hello.
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 Crap. Oh.
So,
Well, it didn't kill us.
so is this like reverse carcinification?
I. Well, I mean, the carcinification, like, happened a bit later on, so.
Hmm.
Anyway, keep reading.
Baby book. Figures. Any idiot knows the crap with the crap and they're.
Oh no! And next. Cheryl was annoyed. Granted, she was always annoyed, but now she was annoyed from the inside of a large sack she had not agreed to occupy. The last person to place her in a sack without asking was, as a direct consequence of that decision, no longer a person, and her present captor was, in fact, incredibly fortunate that their captive was simply feeling too stubborn and too lazy to get out of the sack on her own. For those among you wondering, this turn of events was a direct result of the suggestion that Cheryl alone should read the strange book, which had indeed been part of a trap, albeit not the kind of metaphysical zone logic trap you were probably expecting, or for that matter, as Cheryl had been expecting, and had been consequently more prepared to deal with. As she purposefully stewed in her own agitation, an old family recipe, she wondered which of many hypothetical enemies had been insipid enough to pull such a banal routine. An ex? No, that was impossible, given that she had been the sole survivor, often to her credit unintentionally, of almost every intimate relationship since she was first seeing weirder things than her species is usually supposed to. An ex's vengeful an ex's vengeful spouse, children, or pets then? It wouldn't be the first time, not to mention everyone she still owed a substantial sum of money or cigarettes. And what of those entities who may have suffered some fleeting, senseless outburst of verbal abuse simply because they had crossed paths with her on one of her bad days, also known as one of her normal days. That list could probably populate a small town. Whoever or whatever it was, they were certainly in a hurry. They were also cold enough and damp enough that it could be felt through a sack, and they didn't seem to have any fingers. Whatever they moved around with made a slippery sliding sound on the wooden floor, and another similar sound trailed behind, accompanied by a raspy and also definitely very damp wheezing, until at least Cheryl was unceremoniously dumped out of the sack onto another rickety plank floor. She had been saving up a pretty juicy trick to show whoever was responsible just a little something she picked up in her drifts through the meta vermilion that would have made short and messy work of her nemesis. But she barely finished uncurling the appropriate vibrofunnels when her perfectly stewed agitation was broken by an unexpected bubble of sheer bewilderment. Back over her and dragged her here were unfamiliar members of an otherwise all too familiar species, but one that was not typically known as a throw you in a sack and then let you back out sort of species. More, the sort of species that throws some of you in a sack, or at least so its babies can have something to practice lighting on fire once they've run out of its other weaker babies. And yet, these individuals were not only keeping a quiet and respectful distance from Cheryl, but she could tell, in one of those extrasensory perceptoid ways, that their awkward smiles were an honest to goodness effort to appear non threatening, and not, as was more expected of their kind, because they were trying to imagine which orifice is the funniest orifice for when you pull out the entire human skeleton in one piece. Cheryl had her own opinions on this matter, but we'll leave it at that. Far more unexpected, though, not totally unheard of, was the fact that at least one of the two beings went on to exhibit a recognizable, non gruesome form of communication.
So, you're that foreign broad, if I ain't mistaken.
Is what it said, nasally, in the kind of accent people affect when they believe New York City has only. Is affect the right term here, or am I going nuts?
We think it's the right term.
In the kind of accent people affect when they believe New York City has only one kind of accent. Its larger companion followed up the mistaken statement with a strangled squawking sounding squawk of "Horp!" which in this instance meant, "Yeah, what he said."
Okay, you can read the New York guy if you want to.
Thank you.
Okay.
So, you're that fine broad, if I ain't mistaken.
Yeah, that's a good one. Go. Boing like talking maggots. Yuri, 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 Yuri.
Yeah.
Sandwich.
I
Diane.
although I will say
Oh,
I
you
did
did?
claim the Horp guy earlier.
Well, fair enough.
Anyway, Cheryl opened her mouth to say something, but had uncharacteristically forgotten to prepare any creative new vulgarities. Who the heck was Boyne? She thought. Wait, who had Willie or Wallace kept blabbling about again? He must have said it hundreds of times. Fern. That was it. Indeed.
We think this
Fern.
is our thoughts, actually. Sorry, we didn't register. We are
I mean,
so
it is
sorry.
your thoughts, but I'm pretty sure it's the narrator saying it, right?
True, but you can say that about any dialogue, so
Yeah,
let
I
us
could say
know.
that about. Well, I mean, I can't say that about, like, the unquestionable dialogue.
Fair enough. Let
But I
us.
mean, you can. You can read this as like Cheryl's inner monologue if you want.
Alright. Who the heck was Boyne? Wait, who had Lily or Wallace kept babbling about again? You must have said 100 of times. Fern, that was it. Yeah, we think you
Oh,
should narrate those parts. Because
indeed. Fern.
because the past tense. Sorry, continue.
Okay. Indeed, Fern, the same person Cheryl had encountered back at the hospital, poorly impersonating a temp staffer. It was, come to think of it, a little peculiar that this individual had been hanging around so nonchalantly with both an unpiloted, yet perfectly tame fleshazoid and a son of a K class conceptual manifestation. Now, Cheryl had just been ambushed and kidnapped by the reject pile of the third deadliest biomorphs in the matter based range solely because they had mistaken her for this other gray zone woman. Was Fern really just another of those dumb, doomed randos falling in through the hospital's crumbling membranes? Or was she actually important to this latest brand of doomsday? For once, something had piqued Cheryl's interest before even the promise of money or cigarettes, and neither had been entirely ruled out yet. Cheryl's idea of a smile was almost as convincing of that of the present company.
It's Fern, stupid. Who wants to know?
Oh no! Someone stole our best friend! Exclaimed Willis, already clambering over the fallen book in pursuit of the mysterious figures, failing to register that his other best friend, the one made from the rearranged meat of a serial killer, had refused to budge. Said the fermented creature dejectedly.
You okay?
There's a burp in my throat that just isn't coming out.
Right. No worries.
Willis skittered to a halt, fortunately having not gone terribly far on his tiny limbs. Huh? What's wrong? He said as he puttered back to his companion. Isaac made a little wet huffing sound of frustration, and with the retractable arm we forgot he had for a while, gently picked Willis up by his loop-shaped head and sent him down back outside of the shadowy library aisle. Willis looked back. Cheryl's kidnappers long gone, the other left-hand path. Oh, he said. That's right. Lead the way. By "that's right," Willis meant he remembered Isaac had eyeballs, a sensory organ he himself did not need and did not entirely care to understand, in the span of what you and I could sort of translate as a few seconds. The thing you and I could sort of translate as a little boy had drawn the conclusion that Isaac's eyeballs could see a shortcut to wherever the unidentified entities had jumped out and gotten the poor, sweet, innocent, defenseless old lady they had just met, who, like Fern, would have definitely, in Willis's estimation, have gotten 1,000 times already if Willis hadn't been there to watch out for her. Or been gotten 1,000 times already. In reality, Isaac had no idea where the other path went, but he would have been reluctant to follow the particular things that had taken Cheryl, even if they had taken someone else he was in a hurry to ever see again, which they most definitely did not. Though the details were long faded, there had been something about Cheryl that had sent a little shudder through the particular spinal column Isaac had inherited. As far as he was concerned, multiple things he wanted no part of had just been mercifully enough to exit his vicinity, and with any luck, the rest of his pseudo life. Oh,
Ah!
I.
Oh, that's your scream. Yeah. Yum.
I think the implication is that Cheryl, like, killed him or something?
Probably
Oh
terrified.
no, wait. Remember when he was, like, killing all those humans?
Yeah.
Cheryl won.
Yeah.
Anyway, regardless of the reason, Isaac was just glad that Willis agreed they should take the path that smelled a full 10% less hideously deadly than any other direction they could have gone in. By the standards of her own kind, Cheryl was in fact a rather terrible liar. She was unaware of this fact, but it just so happened that her kind were natural born masters of deduction when compared to the sort of inexplicably
Deception. that
We're
true?
natural born masters of deception when compared to the sort of inexplicably selective naivete exhibited by most other thinking things, which you may have already gleaned if you're up to speed with the escapades of Fern and the other wayward gray zoners throughout this and any related narratives. Thus, Cheryl's kidnappers, who were not the brightest bulbs to begin with, accepted without hesitation that Cheryl was definitely really Fern, which, fortunately, appeared to be the favorable answer. Not that Cheryl felt anywhere near as threatened as she should have been with two entire dolphins between her and the only physical exit. They were, in fact, the sorriest excuses for Dolphinidae that Cheryl had ever laid eyes upon, and I'm sure you will enjoy laying your own eyes upon them with her. Will enjoy laying your own eyes upon them with her, unless you're perceiving these events by non visual sensory processes, in which case you should try to imagine how two dolphins would appear if one of them was sort of like a zucchini that had been that used to be someone's armpit, and the other one was sort of like if someone tried to mop up substantial amount of Vaseline with a set of pantyhose and then taught it everything they knew about selling used cars.
Yeah,
Meh.
that looks accurate.
Yeah, Moglich is really good at prose for visual. Yes.
Yeah.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance, Fern, answered the smaller, floppier dolphin, the one that forced me to think about Vaseline more than I usually like. This here's my brother, Blowhole, and you can call me Blowhole too. They consequently call us the Blowhole Brothers.
Huh.
On my end, that just sounded like a huh,
Uh, huh.
said Cheryl, who didn't care about that actually.
But
But
someone's, but someone sent you, am I right? Dolphs aren't usually in the business of sneaking around and snatching people with all their guts in the same place. No offense.
none taken, but I'm afraid that's strictly confidential information, responded Blowhole 2, definitely enunciating every individual vowel as confidential and information with reckless abandon. So confidential, he continued, pronouncing it in a differently wrong way now. They apparently didn't even fit to grace us with that knowledge neither. His tone was that of someone who wholeheartedly agrees that they can't trust it. Ugly
Fix this!
agrees they
Buckley.
can't agrees they can't be trusted and still takes it as an unforgivably scandalous insult. We hark on Bogleach for his
Yeah.
grammar errors, but I made a card yesterday that just didn't define X. Only you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about, Patty.
we know.
Now they definitely grabbed Cheryl's long neglected sense of curiosity. Someone anonymously hired a couple of loser dolphins to ambush Fern specifically,
You don't sound especially thrilled about this job of yours.
said Cheryl.
Which was what exactly?
Blowhole 2 emitted a sort of snort laugh from his blowhole, causing the broken top of his hat to flap open for a moment. Give the biomological prerogatives.
Don't think
Biomological prerogatives famously ascribed to creatures with the infamous persuasion. We was intended to rub you out,
intended to. Pardon?
said Cheryl, horrified, because although she was well accustomed to things wanting her dead, she had forgotten what rubbing someone out means, and considering the nature of the books she had been trying to shoplift, very recently her mind was still very much elsewhere. You know, said Blowhole 2, I was gonna whack you,
You were gonna what?
said Cheryl with exponentially escalating hostility, also momentarily unfamiliar as she was with to whack someone, as another dated colloquialism for assassination. I'm just saying we was supposed to bump you off, the dolphin hurried attempted to clarify, sweating a little as Cheryl began to roll up her sleeve. An unseen phenomenon.
Keep
An
reading.
unseen phenomenon now rattling the planks around her. For those who are not native English speakers, we can assure you that these were all really various slang terms for homicide. Do you in, stuff ya, no, lay you flat? He continued, backing up against a wall. He had been under the impression that the gray zone dirt walkers were chumps, but already a network of what looked like throbbing veins had begun to pulse beneath his skin as Cheryl drew closer. That wasn't what they were, and they didn't belong to him. Or, interjected the other dolphin, just called Blowhole, which in this instance meant, pardon my brother's obtuse vocabulary, but we were offered substantial compensation by an anonymous individual to permanently terminate your operational processes.
Oh. Oh.
Cheryl laughed, because she somehow caught all of that. As her mood stabilized, Blowhole too experienced a physical sensation, kind of like if thousands of sharp little fingers had been scratching at the inside of your spinal cord, but somehow you just didn't notice until the moment they stopped. Yikes! No wonder someone wants this dame out of the picture. Was at the moment the only firmly appropriate thought of the many thoughts squelching around in this awful dolphin brain. Yeah, that's right, he said out loud with a nervous chuckle, rubbing his flippers together with a sort of rubbery squeaking sound. And whoever it was wanted it on the. Wait, is this? Yeah. And whoever it was wanted it on the down low, but for some reason, they said the deal was off if the little library worm bit the dust first. Said he was important. Said you was a liability to what they was trying to do. Must be why they turned to the Blowhole Brothers, on account of our renowned expertise in these here kinds of delicate operations. He pridefully cocked his head back, causing the boneless, drooping ends of his snout to twirl around each other for a second. He was correct, of course, that he and his brother had been specifically selected to carry out this task, but he was terribly incorrect about the reason,
Oh, yeah, I can tell.
said Cheryl, who was no stranger to the fine art of dumping your dirty work on expendable patsies.
Yep.
Patsies? Is
Yep.
that a word?
That's a word.
Okay.
Like chumps.
Yeah, on expendable patsies, and had to admire the deviousness on display. A dolphin pathetic enough to need money and take orders was still a dolphin, after all, and nobody asks questions when yet another routine, senseless act of dolphin rearranges any one living thing into multiple smaller, less living things. But why? Entities as high profile as the librarian were always under attack from something, but why did these attackers need a mere gray zoner taken out first? And why so secretively? You shouldn't even need a dolphin to explain a gray's sudden demise, as even Cheryl knew she could totally eat it at any given moment in any conceivable or inconceivable fashion. Out here in the zones, you never even knew what your bone marrow might. Out here in the zones, Wait, out here in the zones, you never even knew when your bone marrow might book an exotic vacation and neglect to invite you along. Thinking square thoughts under a violet endomoon could redefine every third cell in your body as a verb. There were sneakers that ate feet, bifocals that ate eyeballs, strawberry yogurt that ate small intestines. Farther out there, so much farther, there were wavelengths of something ancestral to light that could crawl into your past and eat the day you were born. Nobody so much as batted an eye or quivered a flange when these things happened to the unnaturally branchinated, the puzzling and comical Taurus that blipped in and out from the forgettable gray. Things like herself, or Fern, or the plank maze loser we were little more than weird bugs to most or the plank maze loser were little more than weird bugs to most entities, a quaint curiosity at best, and more often an unwanted parasite, infinite layers of reality, and it still felt, in the worst way, like she'd never left home.
Oh.
Thing is, said her would-be assassin, just as she was starting to forget he existed, we were just machinationing on our most diabolical of machinations when we got ourselves even more appealing counteroffer. See, from another unanimous kind of customer, un, unanim, unanim, Unanimous.
Oh,
Un-
we think
unom-
anonymous. We think that's a butchering of the term anonymous or
it is, but
something.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around how to butcher it.
Fair enough.
From another anonymous kind of customer who wanted us to make sure you don't get iced until the worm croaks, which they sounded pretty confident was gonna be your fault. The state the statement snapped Cheryl out of wherever her thoughts had been going, eyebrow raised as the dolphin continued. So that's got us thinking. Why not both? What if, and hear me out here, what if we make it look real convincinating that we, unalived ya? At least, that's the modern terminology for it, right? I used your TikToks. At least until we get paid by Weirdo number one. See, when in real actuality, you just lay low for a while until boom! You get the drop on the worm, so Weirdo number two's gotta pay up. And if Weirdo number one finds out, what's he gonna do now that it's 4 against 1? See? Impenetrable. That's the good old melon for you. At this, he straightened up pridefully and gestured to his swollen friend, his hat flapping up and down again as he emitted a couple of comical toots from his blowhole.
Toot
Toot
toot.
toot. He held the pose for a few awkward beats before his cockiness dissolved and he shrank timidly, hat now held to his chest. It's just, that whole part where you have to play permacoast for a while, that's gonna be significantly more challenging without your cooperation. And I get the feeling you ain't gonna fall for the sack again. What do you say, Foyne? All us three alive and richer? 50-50-50? Cheryl wasn't sure what to think. Why was Fern expected to unexistify the librarian? How was she supposed to? That shouldn't be possible for any Grey Zoner, but now she had to see where the heck this was going, and she knew enough about faking her death that at least the first payout was practically a sure thing. Even in the event she'd have to bail on the next, the dolphin really wasn't as dumb as he looked. His only mistake was thinking the real Fern would ever go for this kind of sleazy business, while his other only mistake was thinking that the fake Fern was ever going to be in a sharing mood. That sentence was written excellently. Willis and Isaac had been navigating the long, winding path of the plankified library aisle for a rather thick layer or two, following a trail brownish splotches on the floor, kind of like muddy footprints. Isaac's enormous compound eye was trained closely on these, indicating to Willis that there was something special about them, Besides these splotches, the only other detail of note was the remarkable disarray of the bookshelves. Granted, an individual from your own world might have been more baffled by what some of the library is actually supposed to look like to the higher conceptospheres, given there are zones in which the equivalent of a book might closely resemble something like a dying potted plant, an unfinished Denny's lumberjack slam trademark breakfast, or a hovering cube of water with a severed foot floating in it. But rest assured, the disarray surrounding Willis was obvious, even for a child who had not typically cared for the place. Besides their disorder, the objects on the shelves were overwhelmingly what you would in fact recognize as books, even in Willis's perception, which, as we just established, was not actually a good sign, in much the same way that the zones are not supposed to be made entirely out of those dusty grayish wooden boards. Every so often the books were interrupted by things that didn't qualify as books to any perceptoid, but still disquietingly mundane as you can expect from the planks. A baby doll skewered with 24 kitchen knives, a Garfield trademark wall clock covered in barnacles, a stack of neatly folded beach towels soaked completely thorough with split pea soup. These things hadn't always been nonsense. In fact, almost every single item to tumble from our world to the outer zones had a quite remarkable story. Even an item as seemingly unremarkable as a chewed pencil or an old sock often held some deep significance to at least one gray zoner at some point, ranging from a funny little story they liked to share at parties, like the mutilated baby doll, to some utterly atrocity, some unutterable atrocity whose tortured victims will never know justice, like the soupy beach towels. It's just that, by the time these things wound up in the plank maze or the dump or in a talking spinal column's briefcase, the story of their origin and how they wound up where they did was typically a story with no remaining survivors, or at least none still human enough to tell it ever again. What a bunch of boring junk, said Willis, boredly rolling his eye holes at the enormous diamond framed wedding photo with the words "Lock the basement" scrawled across its surface with ashes. As they continued, however, the muddy stains on the floor became a little more chaotic, wavering back and forth between the shelves that were themselves caked in small patches of grime. Eventually, the aisle widened some, and almost every inch of the floor was marred with overlapping footprints, as if whatever left them had spent some extended period of activity in the same spot. More curiously, the planked shelves were broken up by more pristine, vibrant little bookshelves still desperately clinging to its context. Two of its shelves were even still labeled, though their vibrational signatures were terribly out of tune with their contents. For a being like Willis, these misaligned signals were kind of like finding a jigsaw puzzle with just a few pieces conspicuously crammed into the wrong gaps, or perhaps a strange little turtle flailing helplessly on its back. There was simply no way a child could stand to move on without fixing the situation. Willis could sense that 5 books in total were categorized incorrectly, and at least one thing did not even belong here at all.
Hmm.
Oh, and you can click on these.
Let's see. Let's browse through a few things. What are rotary dial phones and how do they work?
We are not reading this.
Hmm. This this is in biology. It should be in historical, maybe. Parappa the Rapper, Wikipedia page. Broken Tumblr link.
A broken. Wait, what does the link say? Tagged update chrono. Huh.
From Strange Schools something. What the? Anyways, tiny one. A sound!
Oh, a sound?
Yeah, you click on it and you download a sound.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Ah,
that's alright. Let's see if this sounds familiar. Give us a second. Night's bread, by the way. Bye.
oh yeah. Brad in the chat is saying good night.
Yeah.
It's 11:23, so I'm asleep.
Mm. Yep, that's it. That's the missing child.
Ooh, you you have the child on your computer.
Yep. What do the mechanical parts of a toaster do? Another download. Oh, is it half a noise here and half a noise there? Or
Oh.
different noises? Surgical and dissecting scissors. For sale.
Yuri, Yuri, Yuri,
Yuri,
Yuri,
Yuri,
Yuri,
Yuri,
Yuri,
Yuri,
Yuri,
Yuri,
Yuri,
Yuri.
Yuri.
That's one of our favorite running bits. Loading page. We don't care enough. And finally. Oh.
Something.
Hmm. Yeah. At the very least, we found what we were looking for.
All right, next page then. Willis could usually only receive a fuzzy impression of your suggestions, but rest assured your collective consensus steered his meandering and distractible thought process in just the right direction. Willis decided to keep one of the 2 audio recordings, believing correctly that it must be quite important, and stepped back to admire his good job of organizing the remaining works, just as you fine folks had summarized, things like toaster schematics and medical supplies qualified as biology, whereas everything in history was considered by the author of this ongoing mess to be unofficial canon somehow.
Ooh, ooh, Parappa.
Parappa. Item acquired. Mysterious audio tape. Contains a recording of only a single note. Perhaps there's more somewhere. Elsewhere in the library, a very small librarian experienced a new, fleeting moment of total mental clarity. Or at least a moment of the anarchistic psychological mayhem such an entity was supposed to experience, rather than the more dangerous kind he'd been afflicted with since at least his first encounter with Fern. After all, something wrong with his beloved library had just been corrected, and flawlessly so, by none other than an entity of the hospital. A rather powerful event, however small the problem, or however small the entity in question. Feel free to think of it like acupuncture, but also not like that at all. It wouldn't be long before the wrong kind of madness, yet again, consumed the tiny professor's consciousness, which more or less ran off the library itself as a brain. But maybe, just maybe, this story arc would really do him a spot of good.
We hope so. We want the little
Oh
guy to
god,
be
I love
well.
this. Don't scroll down, don't scroll down, don't scroll down. Not yet. Just no, you can go to the page. Just don't scroll down. No, fuck. You saw it.
Not really. Like, sure.
Okay. Don't scroll down. Okay, read.
First things first.
Said Cheryl, who was pretending she was Fern for the benefit of the two sea mammals.
This killing me thing. What kind of proof did this freak want?
Substantial biomaterial, said Blowhole 2. Presumably something a gray zona can't remain functionate without. Guess that part's gonna be tricky. Cheryl brightened.
That's it. No slats. I got this. Just hang on. No peeking, boys.
She winked and turned around as if the thing she was about to do occupied a similar social space to changing your undergarments, which it sort of did depending on the zone. She pulled out one of her arms into her sweater and squinted, tongue beneath her teeth, like someone trying to concentrate while they thread a needle. Whatever she was doing sounded more like a bunch of empty tin cans rattling around, along with a cartoonish boing and a bit of a slide whistle sound before a rather large rounded lump made its way out of her other sleeve and into her hand, like a basketball trick. Okay, scroll down as you read this.
Ta-da!
She said, proud of the very cool and funny thing she knew how to do since childhood.
Since childhood.
Childhood, yeah. Item acquired. Neatly severed Cheryl head. Prop 665 warning. This product may contain a chemical known to the state of California to cause cancer or birth defects.
Yeah, lots of tobacco.
And,
Even the dolphins are disturbed. Even the dolphins are disturbed.
Hey, I have a question.
Yeah? What's your question? Yes?
Can we back up the stream here, actually? It's getting pretty late
Yeah,
for me.
we were thinking of that too. We've been feeling a bit out of it as of late, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm tripping over my words more. I think we gotta call it here.
Yeah, but we're not before we leave the ending thing on this specific picture right here.
Hold on. Can you still hear me?
Yep, still can hear
Okay.
you.
My computer's lagging. I can't. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. This picture is perfect.
Perfect. Alright, well, thank you all for tuning in to our Midnight Feature presentation. And while this presentation may be over, remember, it is always midnight somewhere. Thank you, and good night.